Round one. Fight! What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tier Ranker Fights. I am your host, Jordan Movie Hero Anderson, and I'm just here so I don't get fined because tonight we're covering best 70s comedies of all time for part of our sports series. We want to cover 5 decades, and this is the least amount of movies that I've seen. We have 54 movies on the list. I've seen a whopping 13, but luckily we have an expert panel or semi-experts tonight that have seen most of these movies. So I'm excited to learn about all my blind spots that I haven't seen and why I need to see these movies. So, but we'll go ahead and we will introduce them tonight. So first off, I have one of my co-hosts for tonight, Austin Pez. How's it going?
Hello, Jordan Anderson, sir. Expert. Maybe, but I'm very passionate about the ones I do like. So, yeah, we'll see. But there's some really good comedies on here. Ones that hold up very, very well, and I'm sure we'll be talking about them tonight.
Yeah, and also with us tonight we have our third partner in our channel. We got Chris Scott, the Casablanca Kid. How's it going?
What's up, guys? Dude, I'm excited to talk 70s comedies. And actually, looking at those lists, I was actually surprised, how many I have seen. But I feel like you, Jordan, there are a few blind spots on them that I may not remember as well. But nevertheless, I'm excited to see you talk comedies.
Well, might be a few for you. Get ready for me to say I haven't seen it a record number of times for me tonight. But yeah, yeah, just my ongoing quest to try to watch older movies because I grew up not a big fan of them, but I'm slowly learning to like them. So over time,
I feel like we need a catchphrase. A movie hero Anderson says old movies suck or something like that.
Well, they don't suck. I just haven't seen enough of them, so that's just why. But yeah. But we also have joining us tonight. We have Henry Confidential. How's it going?
What's up, man? Yeah, definitely ready to talk about some old movies that may or may not be funny. Comedy's subjective, so definitely curious to see where they rank for everybody.
Yeah. We'll see what the panel has to say. But we also have Richie Goodacre tonight. How's it going?
Of course you do. I'm always fucking there you go.
Yeah,
Richie, I've got nothing else to do. Goodacre, so I'll just be on every episode.
Goodacre. Every episode. It's a shame you don't have Jacob Barber because you could do a tally on who says I haven't seen it the most.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, right. I was like, crap. I can't find enough panelists for the episode. Oh, what's Richie up to? Maybe he'll join us.
Richie will be around. Richie is around Goodacre.
Yeah. But last but certainly not least, we have Papa West. How's it going?
He said expert. Are you the expert?
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely not the expert. So where are we here? Oh. Hey guys.
Nobody's here.
Hey.
Yeah.
This way. Yeah.
I'm definitely an expert on 70s comedies, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Papa,
yeah.
ask your little Sean on the back of your board. Maybe he's the expert.
Yeah.
No, little Sean's in timeout.
Yeah.
But not
Because he hasn't seen enough 70s comedies.
I really want to learn him. I haven't yet.
Yeah. Well,
Little Sean doesn't watch movies, so
yeah.
he just yells at me.
But we'll go ahead and jump right into it since we got a whole bunch of movies to get through. So, Austin, do you want to break it down how it's going to work? While I pull up this chart?
Yeah, so we've got 50 some odd movies available for ranking here this evening from the decade that is the 70s. And what we'll do is we'll go person by person. Each round, the next person in line will get a chance to nominate something for a ranking. We go all the way from S for superior up at the top, the best of the best, down through grade school letters A, B, C, D, F. And there's a not a comedy category if you want to try to argue for that as well. But yeah, you can choose any ranking for any movie. We're going to be looking to put 10 in the S tier by the end of the evening and have a couple of honorable mentions from the A tier. So we will see what happens there at the end. And we'll play around with the individual rankings in the S tier and the A tier near the end once we get everything up there. So basically, once we start, Papa West, you'll be at the bottom, so you'll go first. You'll nominate something for a ranking. Let us know why you want to go in there, about a minute or so, and then everybody else will get about roughly a minute or so to kind of agree or disagree where they would rank it, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just kind of how it's going to work. And about the 2-hour mark or so, we'll see where we're at. We'll start wrapping it up, go into our little Hail Mary speed round. I'll kind of explain how that works when we get there, and we'll kind of get our heart out.
Yeah, and yes, Jacob, this will definitely be a little higher quality than our basketball list because we actually have more movies to put to the S tier. Maybe I haven't seen them, but the rest of the panel has, and they can tell us why they belong there. So, yeah, but yeah. So, and while you guys talk I'll throw up the list of movies into the live chat. I just haven't got enough there yet, but they'll be there by at least round 2. So, but Papa West, you'll be up first, so I'll come do a slow scroll so you can kind of see some of the movies we're working with here. But you got one that you want to talk about?
Go ahead and stop right there, Jordan.
Yeah.
I said stop. That means quit scrolling, not keep going.
Done.
When you think of 70s comedies, there's immediately one that pops up. It has to be the one that we start this off with. It is one of the most quotable movies ever. It is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Right there, right where your finger is. This is obviously an S tier. It is one of the better renditions of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. It's hysterical because it starts out with the guy with the coconuts just clicking them instead of an actual horse. You have the Frenchmen who just mock King Arthur, and all of his knights who are with him. You have the knights who say "ni," and then everyone gets upset whenever you try to say "ni" when you are not a knight of ni. You have an amazing bunny rabbit that is a evil monster, and then of course the bridge scene where you have to answer a question. You get it right. You 3 questions. You move on. You get one right, wrong, and you die. Which the hysterical moment. This first guy goes across the bridge, gets 3 easy questions. The second guy gets 2 easy questions, and then gets how quickly would a swallow?
Yeah.
I don't know this. He just
flying speed of a swallow. Yeah.
Yeah. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's an S tier.
Yeah. Well, Richie, what is your favorite color?
I really like this film. I would have brought it up. I would have brought it up if probably first as well. I probably of the of the kind of Monty Python movies, I'm probably one of the in the minority that think Meaning of Life is a better one. But I do like Holy Grail. It's very quotable. There's no. I think it is one of the better comedies of all time. Still holds up. So yeah, it belongs in S tier.
Yeah. Well, Henry, what is the capital of Syria?
S tier. Yeah. So I'm sad that this is the one that I didn't get to nominate because it's obviously the one of the 70s. Like almost not many people are going to deny that. So there's a debate for the rest of them in terms of how you want to rank them, but a lot of people would have this at number one. More people would have this at number one than any other movie. So I'm absolutely excited that it's the first one brought up, but I'm sad that I'm not the one that gets to bring it up.
Yeah.
Be cool, Henry, and you get to go first next time. But you have to be cool.
Yeah. Well, Chris, what do you think for Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail is comedy gold. That's a perfect spot for it. I've watched it a bunch of times. It definitely holds up each time. S tier.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, Austin, what do you think? I know maybe you have a hot take. On
my hottest take of the evening. I think Monty Python and the Holy Grail is the most overrated comedy of all time. I don't like Holy Grail. Listen, look, I think even in this list, there's a way higher quality Monty Python movie that's zanier, funnier, smarter, and more satirical than Holy Grail. I've tried to give this movie dozens of times to try to watch it. It bores me to tears. Even from the opening where it's like, oh, isn't it funny? They're galloping and the dude's clicking coconuts together. Ha 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 ha. I mean, that's hilarious. Look, I don't think it's like a horrible movie, but I realize that my take is in the minority. But I would put Holy Grail in like the C tier. I don't think it's as funny as everybody makes it out to be. But that's going to be my hottest take of the evening.
Sure, yeah. Oh, did you listen to me? Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, it's just a harmless little bunny rabbit, isn't it? So there's a couple of scenes in this movie that just really get me. Like I do kind of agree that it gets a little slow in parts, but I still think that it deserves an S tier. But like definitely the killer bunny. There's also the scene where they're going through the cave and the animator has a sudden heart attack, just like in the middle of nowhere, just out of nowhere. And then the scene where they're charging the castle, like storming it, and the guy's just running like forever, and it keeps showing him like running, but he's not getting any closer, and it's like over and over and over, and like really drawn out. That always cracks me up. So. I think Monty Python and the Holy Grail is great, but I'm surprised though when I first saw it though I didn't really get it though. Like I actually didn't like it on my first viewing, and I bought a copy of it and actually gave it away to someone because I'm like I don't understand this. This is weird. But then like years down the road, I rewatched it and I'm like, this is comedy gold. Like, what was I thinking? And so yeah, like it's S tier all the way. So yeah, I'm gonna say that it stays in S tier. So I think even with your C, Austin, it's probably going to stay.
I told you. I realize I'm in the minority on my opinion on Holy Grail, and I realized I was going to be outvoted. I'm not objecting it to be in the S tier. I'm in the minority, and I realize that. I have a self-awareness, I realize what the overall movie community thinks about this movie.
Well, it's the same way with me and Titanic. Like I can't stand it, but the overall movie community would put it in S tier probably if we were.
I feel like it's more divisive these days.
Yeah. True. But it'll be S tier for Holy Grail. But Richie, you're up next. So what do you want to nominate?
You know what? Screw it. Let's get out of the way. You referenced it. Let's put Life of Brian up there.
Fuck yeah.
There you go.
Now we're talking.
Let's get the Monty Python out of the way. This movie's fantastic. It belongs to S tier. It was very, 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 especially at the time, sort of very ballsy with its humor. It's endlessly quotable, like all sort of Monty Python movies are. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. It's a fantastic movie. Like I said, it's probably in my head with the rankings. Probably goes in my head and probably meeting a Life of Brian and Holy Grail, but that doesn't take away anything away from Life of Brian. Life of Brian's fantastic, and it deserves to be S tier. So, Life of Brian.
Yeah.
So as much as I love Holy Grail, you'd assume that I've seen all the other ones, and I've haven't seen any other Monty Python movie, and I just haven't really cared. I don't really care about religious stuff, and the parody of that doesn't really, appeal to me. It's not like I'm anti against it. I just never rushed out to see it, and it just never, went to the top of my list. So I've never seen Life of Brian.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Chris, what do you think?
So I like Monty Python Holy Grail, and I've tried to like Life of Brian. I've watched it several times. Couldn't really get into it at all. It's okay. But it's not Holy Grail gold. For that reason, I believe it's definitely C. But I know I'm going to obviously be the minority here.
Right.
But I don't think it's really that good. I think it's okay.
Yeah. Well, Austin, what do you think?
See, Life of Brian is the true S tier Monty Python of this grouping. It's much sillier than Holy Grail is. The people who have seen it, it's a brilliant takedown of it's not just about like making fun of Christianity. It's just about making fun of how religions get started and misunderstandings and people taking stock in something and putting something up on a pedestal and not thinking for themselves. Brian's mother is absolutely played by Eric Idle, is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, like you said, he's not a messiah, he's just a naughty boy, like get out of here. And like, there's shit with like there's stoning scenes where she's like, who threw the first stone? We haven't started yet, back of the line, shit like that. Like this movie, I think it's smarter than Holy Grail. I think it's more entertaining overall. It moves at a brisker pace than Holy Grail, and I just think it's just overall a better satire and a better example of the Monty Python zaniness than Holy Grail. So I would go with S tier for Life of Brian. I think it's the better of the two, personally.
Yeah, well, earlier today I had a choice to either watch Life of Brian for the first time or to finally finish Blazing Saddles, because I've only ever seen half of it, and I decided to go with Blazing Saddles. So I haven't seen Life of Brian, so I can't really comment on it. So, but Papa West, what do you think?
Always look on the bright
side of life. When it ends with dudes whistling while being crucified. Singing the song. It's amazing. Yes. Yes.
I learned at a very young age, British comedy just hits different. And it's so much better than American comedy. And that was after watching The Life of Brian. This is definitely an S tier movie. And Henry, Jordan, do yourself a favor and watch it.
Yes,
it's definitely on my a must-watch list. So
I'll watch it after church on Sunday. Just kidding. I'm not going to church.
Yes, please.
Yeah, well, it's going to stay in the S tier. Enough people saw it.
Well, we got 3 S's and a C, but we got enough S's to keep it. Now it'll probably be at the lower end of S tier. I realize that. That's fine. But yeah, I think it'll squeak in there. At least enough people have seen it. Yeah.
Well, we'll throw it over to Henry. You're up next. So what do you want to nominate?
So my pick, it's going to be from a director that this is the first time when I watched a movie that I was like, oh, I actually love this movie. And one movie I like, so when it gets brought up, I know it's a popular one. I'll accept it because it's starting to grow on me as time's passed. But I despise the rest of his films, and that's Mel Brooks. And I'm going with Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, one of them's gonna get brought up later, and I'll probably give it the common grade, whatever people bring it up as, because it's grown on me as time's passed. But this one is, for some reason, like, it doesn't feel as Mel Brooksy as like the rest of them. Like, it's actually smart, it's actually good, it's actually funny, it's actually everything that the rest of his piece of crap movies aren't. And yeah, this movie is awesome. Gene Wilder, Peter Boyle are hilarious. Like, they, the Frankenstein monsters concept is just a blast. The scene with the hump, I can fix that for you. What hump? You know what I mean? Like, things like that. There's just so much going on. That's just a lot of fun. It's in black and white, and it has all the vibes of a classic comedy that we might not ever get to talk about. But that's another story. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, this is a blast, and I'm surprised that it's come from Mel Brooks, because 99% of his movies suck.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Yeah, this is a hot take.
Hot take. That's hot garbage, just like his movies.
That is my second favorite director of all time. So
he's like, Mel Brooks sucks. He stinks. Young Frankenstein, S tier.
Well, the only I preferred it with this. The only one that's always been good. And it's a surprise. It's like wow. It's like when Nick G has one good movie or Paul W.S. Anderson. Wow, they have one good movie. That's crazy because the rest of them suck. But yeah, Young Frankenstein
have a good movie.
Wes Anderson has no good movies.
Well,
I think that's the first time in history.
Chris?
an analogy. Like what if?
I think that's the first time in history Mel Brooks has been compared to Mick G.
Yeah, McG.
Yeah, right.
I would watch Mel Brooks all day compared to McG movies. Yeah.
You would love the movie movies.
Well, what do you think, Chris, for Young Frankenstein?
So I love Young Frankenstein, and I was lucky to see it on Broadway as well, and it was even funnier. Like Young Frankenstein is such a good story. It's just laugh out loud hilarious. And unlike you, man, I don't hate Mel Brooks, but it definitely belongs above a Monty Python, hands down.
Yeah. Well, Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, well, it's not my favorite Mel Brooks movie, which I'm sure my favorite one will come up here very, very shortly. Yeah, it's still very, very good. It not only works as a silly Mel Brooks comedy, but it works as a parody of the Universal monster movies because you can actually watch the original Frankenstein, then you can put this on right afterwards. It kind of follows a lot of the same beats. The funny part is Gene Wilder playing it so straight while everybody is kind of being so silly around him, just really good writing. Probably Mel Brooks at the top of his game when it comes to his actual writing. Fantastic performances, good set design, and good art direction. And Henry, I wanted to correct you. It's Frankenstein. Okay.
Yes.
The movie's called Frankenstein.
Exactly.
His character's Frankenstein.
His name is Frankenstein. Okay.
So it's Young Frankenstein.
It's pronounced Frankenstein.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's one of the few movies that I actually have seen, and when I first saw it, I thought it was like a really old movie because it's done in black and white, but it's only from the 70s. So like it's a good time. Like we've got to mention the putting on the Ritz too. That's like a classic scene from it, and then put on the Ritz. Yeah, but also like his girlfriend in it. And he's like, "Do you want to have a roll in the hay?" Or like where are you going? Well, you men are all like 7 or 8 quick ones. Then you're out with the boys to boast and brag. It's like, so yeah, there's some pretty classic lines there. So yeah, I would say for sure like it belongs in the S tier. Yeah, maybe at the top of S tier. Like it's probably my favorite movie that we've talked about so far. So, but Papa West, what do you think?
It's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie is actually where I fell in love with Gene Wilder, and where I realized he is a great actor. And sorry, I'm allergic to Henry's bullshit. Mel Brooks is great. Watch your damn mouth, Henry.
Fuck yeah.
No, this is definitely an F tier.
Yep. Well, Richie.
Yeah, definitely S tier. I think parody movies always work when at least one of them's playing it straight. Not to parody movies of modern era where it's it's like, oh, we're in a parody movie. Yeah, we're referencing stuff. But I miss movies like these. And yeah, it works. Still works today. It's fantastic. It deserves to be S tier. Again, not my favorite Mel Brooks movie, but I'm sure it'll come up soon. So yeah, Young Frankenstein deserves to be up there.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it got the most S tier. So
it's a clean sweep so far, so it's probably going to be right at the top at the moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes, but
my pick's the best.
So far. Yep. So
your pick's the best. Your takes suck, but your pick was good.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris, you're up next. So what do you want to nominate?
This is tough. I'm gonna go with you know what? I'm gonna pick a bad movie. Rocky Horror Picture Show. I know it's a hot take. Way too many people love it.
It might not be as hot as you think.
Yeah.
I've seen it a ton of times, and it's just okay. It's not a cinema masterpiece. I would probably put it in C. It's average.
Okay.
It's not horrible. It's not amazing, but it's not like the best movie ever made. Like everybody has made it out to be.
Yeah. Well, Austin, what do you think?
I'll go even harder than you, Chris. I think this movie fucking blows. I think Rocky Horror Picture Show sucks. I think this movie sucks ass. Look, rest in peace, Meatloaf. He's the best thing in the movie, but they kill him like 5 minutes after he shows up. I think this movie, the fucking music is terrible. I think the comedy itself stinks. I just think this movie annoys the shit out of me. Every time I've tried to go to a theater and watch it, and I've tried to do it twice, I got these fucking idiots yelling shit in between each line, and I can't hear a goddamn word they're saying. So I finally sat down and watched it at home, and it was even more boring than I thought it was. I think this movie stinks. I think it's one of the worst cult movies ever made. I don't think it works as a musical. I don't think it works as a comedy. I don't think it works at all. I would put it in F tier.
I'm absolutely game for F tier. Put it there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like this movie is one that I have seen, and it just seemed like one of those movies that like you either love it or you hate it. That's why I'm a little surprised by Chris's take actually, because I haven't really even heard too many people just say like it's okay, but it's not great. Like I either hear like one side or the other of the spectrum. And like I'm on the side where I hate this movie. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't know if I would go pure F, like maybe like a D for me, but because Tim Curry is in this movie, but he's in drag the whole time, and it's just like really weird and awkward, and like it's supposed to be like a horror, but it's like it's a musical also, and it's just not my type of movie, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it's older. If it was a modern movie, I probably wouldn't like it either. So yeah, I'm gonna go D for the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So, but Papa West.
So I grew up in a very conservative household, and Tim Curry in drag was just enough for my mom to say, "Jacob, you're never watching this movie while in my household." Since then, I've grown up and become a rebellious young man. I'm kidding. I still love you, Mom. But this is one that has always been on my list, and I'm ready to hate it, but I have not watched it yet.
Yeah. Well, some people in the chat, like Malcolm, saying maybe it's not a comedy. I don't know, but that's what he says. But we'll see what the rest of you say. Richie, what do you think?
I can't believe what I'm hearing personally. I think this movie's good. I think it's what the fuck's going on? You know, if you're gonna have someone drag, have Tim Curry in drag, he fucking owns it. Okay. I think this movie's great. Well, yeah, it's definitely not F. I'm not saying I would not put it S just because we're rating 70s comedies. I don't know if it's strictly a comedy. First of all, it's a musical. First of all, that maybe has like some moments played for laughter, but it doesn't actually. You know, it's not soccer. It's not to go for laughs. I would go for B. But yeah, and fun fact, my mum went to school with the director of school. So,
oh, nice. Very cool.
So, yeah.
Well, Henry.
Yeah. So, unlike Papa West, you know, I didn't live in a conservative household, so my mom didn't tell me I couldn't watch this. But that's because she left when I was young, so I didn't really get a chance to hear anything from her about movies. But yeah, so I never seen this because nothing about it seemed like it was a comedy, so I definitely didn't prioritize it for this. So I haven't seen. I'm intrigued because similar to what you said, Jordan, it's either one way or the other, either top tier or F tier. So I've always been curious to see where I scale on that, but I have not seen it yet.
Well, we got a B.
It's like a B, C, D, and F. It's all over the place. So it's either gonna be like C or D or something. Yeah.
B, C, D, and F. So yeah, I mean, you can leave it in the C.
You can leave it like that. It's fine. It's fine. As long as it doesn't come anywhere near the top, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not gonna make the top 10 or honorable mentions, so we're good. But Austin, you're up next. So what do you want to know?
So now we have to talk about my favorite comedy of all time and Mel Brooks's greatest achievement, which is Blazing Saddles. It's 100%, I think, for me personally, the greatest comedy ever made. I think it's a movie that brilliantly holds up. It's a phenomenal takedown of a lot of just the brilliant thing about this movie is like people get shocked when they hear it because of all the the racist stuff in it, all the epithets being thrown around, everything like that. But the brilliant part of it is that Mel Brooks is smart enough to where all the people that are that in the movie are the buffoons. They are the morons of the film, and it's taking those people down. The fact that you have Cleavon Little playing this black Sheriff Bart, who was overcoming all this and turns it around and becomes the hero is great. So it's not only got a great story at the base of it, but every character you encounter is absolutely hilarious. Slim Pickens as Taggart is great. Alex Karras as Mongo. Harvey Korman as Hedy Lamar. Excuse me, that's Headley. Is fantastic. Phenomenal. Character actors sprinkled throughout. Gene Wilder is, again, much like Young Frankenstein, he's brilliant as the Waco Kid in this movie. And I think it's one of the smartest movies he's ever made, and it holds up brilliantly to this day. It just absolutely bites as both satire and straight slapstick comedy. So, yeah, I would nominate Blazing Saddles for S tier. I think it's his best work.
Yeah. So... as an overall movie, like probably Blazing Saddles for me kind of ends up more of an A tier, but we're just strictly talking 70s comedies here. And I think compared to the rest of the movies on the list, it definitely deserves an S tier. So I'm gonna nominate S, but like for me, I just miss Gene Wilder like so much. Like he's such a phenomenal actor. Like he just plays the like sheriff deputy guy like so cool, and like he's just like it really works. And there's so many subtle things. You could watch this movie like multiple times and you catch something new every time. I always like when they're in church and like all the like church people are like quoting like crazy things, like saying like our town's a piece of shit or something, or like the like preacher just kind of saying off the wall things, and then like how like everyone in the town except like one guy, they're all a last name Johnson, which is kind of interesting. So like so and so Johnson or whatever. So yeah, like it's really smart humor. So, and it's like one of those movies you got to pay attention to all the little nuances, and you'll really catch some really cool stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna say S tier for Blazing Saddles. So, but Papa West, what do you think?
Young Frankenstein's where I fell in love with Gene Wilder. Blazing Saddles is where I turned it into a full-on romance.
Yeah.
Him as the Waco Kid. Do you see my hand? Well, this is my shooting hand.
I shoot with this one.
With this one, yeah, and he's all shaky. Yeah.
Cleavon Little is fantastic in this movie, especially like knowing how to get out of the situation. So, town's about to kill him because he's a black sheriff. Back up,
the gun up to
brains out. Guys, listen to me. I think it's true. Look at him; he's crazy.
He desperate. Do what he say. Do what he say.
This is definitely an S tier comedy. And Henry's wrong for whatever he's about to say.
Or like when he like pops around the corner, he's like, "Where are the white women at?" I'm just like, "What?"
Doing the KKK.
Yeah. Like to the KKK.
Yeah.
I told you to wash your hands after every cross burn, and see, it's coming off.
Yeah. Well, Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely an S tier. I don't really have much more to add. It's a fantastic movie. I'm like, I've probably said it a few times on here. I'm like the biggest animal lover, but I think it's better than humans. But I could watch the horse punching scene over and over, and I can see it. It's so fucking funny.
Smacks it to the ground.
Definitely yes. I think it probably should even go. I would move it. Probably in front of Young Frankenstein, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Richie,
so
never mind that shit. Here comes Mongo.
Yeah, so Blazing Saddles is the one that I said that like initially I didn't love it, but it's grown on me just as I've watched. So ironically, when the first few times that I've seen it, where I thought it was like a 3.5 star movie, the funny parts I did laugh consistently were like the terrible jokes because of like the shock value, and it's been like I felt so guilty that I laughed, but it was just hilarious because they're good jokes and they're also very shocking. But the more I've watched it, the more I've grown to understand the parody and see more westerns and just see what they're pairing, but also like the camaraderie between the two actors that just it's a nice dynamic that they have between each other. So it's grown on me, and like I said earlier when I was talking about Young Frankenstein's always been a top tier movie for me, and then this one has grown on me. So this is the last praise I'll give Mel Brooks, because after this the rest of the movie sucks. So yes, I'm okay with Blazing Saddles as an S.
Sure, sounds good. Well, Chris.
So everyone's kind of said like all the great things about Blazing Saddles. I mean, like I love Young Frankenstein, but then like you, Blazing Saddles was what really made me a fan of Mel Brooks. Yeah, absolute S tier.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where it's whatever you got introduced to first, probably, because Blazing Saddles was one that was introduced to me before Young Frankenstein, which is why like I kind of clicked with it more. Like my dad showed me this movie a lot when I was a kid, and I just connected to it before Young Frank. It didn't come from Young Frankenstein until later, but yeah, they're both great.
I saw Blazing Saddles first. That's why I said like I was really surprised when I loved Young Frankenstein immediately, because I'd seen 3 or 4 Mel Brooks, and after hating Spaceballs so much, I was like, man, I'm not gonna like this, and then I really liked Young Frankenstein. So
well, it's a good thing you weren't on the '80s comic, because Spaceballs ended up in the S tier, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
I would have shit.
Yeah. But I guess it's my turn, and I got to go hot right out of the gate before everyone takes my picks. I've only seen a finite number of these, so I got to go with my namesake tonight. I got to go with The Jerk.
Yeah, so. The Jerk. Yeah.
Let's see, where is it at? If anyone sees it,
I saw it. Go down.
Oh yeah.
The
Jerk. Yeah.
It's like,
there you go. The yellow.
Look for the cans.
Yeah.
Grab the cans.
Yeah.
He really hates cans. This man hates cans.
Yeah. This movie's so good. Like him considering himself a black man because he was raised by this black family, and then like at the end when he's like, we bought a bigger house, and it's just like a twice bigger size of the exact same piece of crap cabin in the house that they have. And then how Steve Martin is just dancing with like reckless abandonment, but it's all off beat, and he's just going and going and going, just so crazy. Like it's a lot of fun. And then he invents like the Opti Grab or something like that, the little glasses thing. So he becomes rich at one point, but and then when he has to give it all up, he's like walking out. He's like, I don't need anything except this chair, except this thing. He keeps grabbing things like on his way out, and like he keeps naming them over and over again, to where like at the end he has a list of like 10 things. He's like, that's all I need is this and this and this and this. He's just like naming all these things. It's really good stuff. And then just like he's working for the circus, and he keeps having sex with like the stunt girl over and over and over again, like it's some kind of ride. Gee, it's like we're on a ride or something. It's just it's good stuff. So yeah, like this movie really, really made me laugh. I watched it for the first time like 3 days ago, and I loved it. So yeah, I'm gonna say S tier. So, but Papa West, what do you think?
I really don't like this movie because I lost a trivia match because of this movie because I hadn't watched it before that match, and then just that hatred for it. I haven't watched it. I love Steve Martin, and it is one that is on my list that's been on there for a while, so it's one that I'll watch eventually. Just have not gotten to yet.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
Richie?
For $1, I'll guess your weight, your height, your sex.
36.
Yeah. For $1. Yeah.
Well, you can pick between this one and this one, not the erasers, but the pencils. But this is the only not the rulers.
Yeah.
And through between these 3 inches.
Yeah.
This is one of the more quotable like Steve Martin movies, is saying something, because the dude's had a hell of a career, especially in the going into the 80s and late 70s. But yeah, this movie's great. But I probably don't hold it in high esteem as some of the others on the S tier, but I can't make an argument that it doesn't deserve to be on S tier. So I think stay with the S tier. The Joker is great. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this
Yeah.
this is one that when I first watched it, it was like a borderline top 100 material. I fell in love with it. It's gone down on subsequent viewings, but not like in a negative way, just in more of like it went from a top tier, like for example, an S tier to an A tier for me on my personal ranking. But given that we're going to be grasping at straws really soon with some of these quote unquote comedies, that I'm cool with keeping in the S tier.
Yeah. Well, Chris, what do you think about The Jerk?
The Jerk is a great movie. I definitely agree with S tier for sure. But at the same time, it has been a while since I've seen it, but I do remember it being hilarious when I saw it. So absolute S tier.
Yeah. Well, Austin?
Dude, I was rewatching The Jerk this afternoon, and I about spit my drink out at the part. It caught me mid thing when the chick comes up to him when he's working at the carnival and goes, "Help me! I've lost my kid. He's 5 years old, blonde hair, blue eyes. He's got a shirt that says bullshit." And I about spit my drink, and I about spit my drink out, and then he literally has a shirt that says bullshit on it, and he's like driving the fucking train away, like that shit made me laugh so fuck. And he's like chasing it, going like, "Now make sure if the radiator overheats, you turn it with a quarter inch screwdriver and make sure you oil up the bearings." As he's chasing the fucking kid, dude, I thought I fucking lost it to that shit. I had forgotten, like, I had seen The Jerk before, but I hadn't rewatched it in a real long time, and like I need to put this fucking movie in rotation more because, like, god damn it, The Jerk is funny. And Steve Martin is like, he can be a little hit or miss for me, like especially in his more recent stuff, but like his 70s and 80s stuff is pretty gold. And like The Jerk was a pretty good one to come right out of the bat on, because it was really his first movie right after being kind of a stand-up. And The Jerk is awesome. And it's funny, I was actually also rewatching the Siskel and Ebert from '79, and they both shit all over this movie when it came out, which was unfortunate. Yeah, so it's a rare case where they were like completely fucking wrong about one that would become a comedy classic. So yeah, it was kind of unfortunate. But yeah, The Jerk rocks, and I think it absolutely belongs in S tier.
You got to give a shout out to the dog named Shithead too.
Yeah,
he randomly called it Shithead.
Die, you gas station fuck! Gang, gang, dude. M.M. Walsh in that scene is fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, when he's
Just
like,
die.
I'm just gonna shoot a random guy.
Random guy. Navin Johnson. He's so excited he got in the phone book. There I am in the phone book.
Yeah. But The Jerk almost has some like parody elements in it, like almost, because the way that it, like he kind of plays it so straight, like it just like has that kind of feel almost. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
But we'll bring it back around to Papa West. So you got another one you want to nominate?
Ugh. I know there are a couple.
You've done the slow scroll.
There are a couple. Okay, you can go ahead and stop the scroll now.
Right.
We're gonna go with The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. More known for its 2006, I believe, with Adam Sandler. But
yeah.
Shut up, Richie.
We're doing trivia. I already beat you. Sorry, I'm just not beat it.
But no, 1974's. Is that correct, Richie?
Yeah.
Well, I'm 4. Yes, there you go.
I said 1974.
Oh, 1974. I mean this one. Yes, you can continue.
Thank you, Richie. Thank you. I can't wait to correct you on your next acknowledge on your next pick.
Go.
After watching this movie, because I actually watched it for the first time like 5-6 years ago, I realized why they remade it, because it is a great film. Burt Reynolds is fantastic, and it's pretty much the same movie. You have him getting this whole ragtag group of convicts able to play together, just hijinks ensue. So that they play the guards and finally get to hit the guards for all the stuff they've done. But no, Burt Reynolds, great performance in this film. Much better here than the other one that we're not talking about, because we're doing 1970s and not 2000s. So go ahead and bump it up one more, Jordan. Go ahead and throw it in.
There you go.
I have.
All right.
You can knock it down later, Austin. I'll let you.
Yeah. All right, Richie. Richie.
I've seen the Adam Sandler version. Have not seen this one, so I'll abstain.
Yep.
Yeah, so if this was the Adam Sandler one, this would be definitely S tier for me because it's one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. I love that one. But everything I've actually heard about this one, it's really not that funny. It's more serious. So I'm curious to see people's takes on it if it is, actually more of a comedy than just kind of like a drama. So, but I haven't seen it yet. I've wanted to. I put it on. I've started multiple times. I've had bad luck where HBO Max lags out or whatever, and it hasn't gone. So I've actually had some bad luck trying to watch it in the last year, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Well, Chris? What do you think?
So for greatest football movies that we did, I actually watched the original Longest Yard with a Burt Reynolds, which was like a couple of months ago. But the movie blew me away. Like, it was hilarious. I mean, Adam Sandler is good because it's Adam Sandler. But this is just phenomenal writing, incredible acting. There are just some hilarious parts in the movie. And yeah, it's perfect. Absolutely an S tier movie.
Wow.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, Austin, what do you think?
I'm baffled at how it makes S tier on this list, but it only made A tier on our football list. Like, I'm baffled at this right now. Look, I would put it in A tier. I think it's a perfectly fine movie.
Different panel.
Stuff. And there's a good crew of kind of character actors playing the prisoners in this one, including the guy who played Jaws in the Bond movies. Is like the big guy, kind of the replacement for like the great Khali in the Adam Sandler version. So it kind of works. And I mean, Burt Reynolds is funny. I just think when it comes to 70s comedies, The Longest Yard is not the first thing that comes to mind. Like, I think it's one of the better sports comedies, but I do think there are two better sports comedies on this here list that are funnier and are better sports movies. Because the football stuff at the end gets a little wonky with continuity. I would personally put it in A tier, just exactly where I put it on the football show. That's the same place I put it there.
Yeah, well, for me, I can't comment because I've seen the Adam Sandler one. I haven't seen this one, so. But
Adam Sandler one's a banger.
Yep. Yeah. So
Shit himself.
what do we have? We got 3 S's and an A, so it's probably
two S's and an A. 2 S's and an A. We only got 3 votes.
2 S's.
Yeah.
Okay, 3. Okay. So 2 S's. So I don't know if it stays in the S tier, maybe, or just goes to A. I don't know because not enough people have seen it. I don't know.
Probably A.
What do you think?
I'm okay with that.
Well, we usually 3 S's will bump it up, but I mean, for now it'll stay because it's just strictly got more S's than A's. But the next couple ones that get enough S's, that one's probably going to be the first one to get bumped.
Yeah, I'm sure it's right on the chopping block.
Yeah, it'll be on the chopping block for down into A. We'll see how it plays out, but yeah,
we'll see. Mm-hmm. Well, Richie, you're up. So
I can tell you. I mean, with pretty decent confidence, this will get an S. One of the National Lampoon's best movies.
Yes.
Fat, Drunk, and Stupid. Fat, Drunk, and Stupid. Animal House.
Fuck yeah, Animal House.
Fuck yes. Animal House.
Yes, goddamn right.
This is so much fun. It's still delicious. It's just such a shame he lost, but Belushi when he did. He just had so much potential. This movie is just bonkers. So quotable. Just so amazing. I can gush about. I could probably gush about it like the whole stream, but I'll just say it deserves. It probably deserves the like really high up. One of the not even the best 70s comedy, one of the best comedies of all time. So yes, Animal House.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
So this is one of those where it's kind of like Rocky Horror, where a lot of people are like, it's either the best comedy of this era or it's extremely overrated. So it's one of those where I've been afraid to watch it because I don't like Blues Brothers at all. I didn't like Caddyshack that much, and I don't it's not just I don't know. It's one of the things where the comedy is just different in this era, and it just doesn't. It's not my bag, and I just haven't rushed out to see it because like on paper it sounds like something I would love. Like if this exact thing was made in the 2000s, I feel like this would be like my super bad type of deal or whatever, old school. But I've actually been afraid to watch this, and it wasn't free anywhere to watch it, so I wasn't going to pay for it to potentially be let down. So I didn't watch it for this. So I have to abstain.
Okay. Well,
if it gets S tier, I'll put a toga on.
Yeah. Right. do you think, Chris?
Absolutely an S tier. This was actually the one I was going to go for next. Yeah, I love this movie so much. It definitely is better than The Longest Yard for sure. I would even say it is better than Steve Martin's The Jerk. It's just got so many hilarious parts. The acting is incredible. The writing is solid. It is one of those movies I hadn't seen before I took a trip with a friend of mine, and then her friend recommended that I watch Animal House, and I was kind of like, am I really gonna love it? Because I heard kind of mixed things about it, but I literally died laughing the whole time.
You literally died?
Yeah.
You can go back to life?
Yeah.
Literally.
You know what?
Had to be revived. Yes.
Literally died and came back to life. Yeah.
Literally died and came back. But Austin, what do you think?
A pledge pin on your uniform. You show up to the stables at 1900 hours, and without that pledge pin, no. Fucking Animal House is the greatest college comedy ever made. I hands down, bar none, every college comedy that has come after it has wanted to be Animal House. Is a pale imitation. And now, while some are better than others, some do succeed. I'm a big fan of Revenge of the Nerds as well, but every single one of them wants to be Animal House. All the characters in it are memorable, from Flounder to Pinto to Niedermeyer to Eric Stratton. Damn, nice to meet you. Everybody in this movie that you meet is so much fun. Dean Wormer is amazing. A fantastic villain, putting them on double secret probation, which is genius. And just everything in this movie works. Every scene is classic. I said that my two favorite comedies of all time are in the 70s. Number one, Blazing Saddles, and a close number two is Animal House. I love this movie to pieces. It's absolutely S tier.
Yeah, so I watched Animal House for the very first time, and leading up to this about 3 days ago, and like this movie, I feel weird after watching it because I feel like everybody loves this movie so much, but I really didn't, and I feel like I'm like missing something, or like almost feel bad that I don't really like it, and it's like for me, like it's just like when I watched it, like there's just some weird comedy going on, like a lot of like Three Stooges type of like comedy, like I really expected the comedy from Jim Belushi to be a lot smarter, and it really wasn't.
Jim Belushi? Excuse me?
I mean,
this is far from Jim Belushi, sir. Excuse me. John Belushi is the superior version, sir. Don't you dare.
We both start with
Don't
Jay.
you fucking dare.
Like whatever. John Belushi. Okay. You do that every time. Like every time I ever mention his name, it comes out Jim. But
You're fired.
But yeah, from John Belushi, like he's just running around stuffing his face with food, then spitting it out, and then pouring beer all over himself, and just like a lot of weird stuff.
The slow scene where he's going down the cafeteria line and he's scarfing the Jello and stuffing hamburgers in his mouth, and he's eating everything along the goddamn line, is putting sandwiches in his pocket, like, is fucking genius. Because it's nonverbal. He's looking back at the camera doing his eyebrow shit. It's brilliant silent comedy. Like, that scene could play as a silent, and it'd be absolutely genius.
Yeah.
But like then he walks over to the table and they're like, "Can I help you?" And he's like, he just spits his like cheeks together like Three Stooges stuff. And it's like, I love Three Stooges comedy when the Three Stooges are actually doing it. Like I love that stuff. But when anyone else tries to do it, I just find it stupid, and like it just doesn't make me laugh. I just don't get it. But I do want to give a shout out to like how many topless girls are in this movie, so that makes it pretty entertaining for that reason. But I mean, like,
God, seriously.
But like it just didn't really make me laugh halfway through. I was like, what am I watching? Like, what's even happening here? And there's some weird stuff with like Donald Sutherland, where he's like smoking weed with a bunch of students and having an affair with one of them, and it's just kind of like just really weird stuff. And so for me, like,
he can do what he wants.
Like I don't want to hate on it too much, and so I'll give it a C, I think. Like, it's just
Are you fucking kidding me? Animal House is the goddamn greatest.
Like,
are you fucking shitting me?
Yeah, like
I probably would have given it a C too if I would have seen it. Based
I didn't
on,
get
like,
it. I was kind of like,
and you've never seen it, Henry. So shut your goddamn mouth.
Well,
so sit back and listen to why it's genius. All right.
Well, I will say
I'm not hearing any reasons. Everything actually kind of sucks. All your jokes.
Also, I will say that the Three Stooges do not have a trademark on pratfall comedy. Just because
it's not just like everybody that does slapstick is not trying to do the Three Stooges. Like the joke of that is she says that he's a PIG pig, and he stops and he looks at her and he stuffs the thing. He goes, "Here, see if you can guess what I am now." And he puts the thing in his mouth and he says he's a zit after he pops his face. Like that shit is fucking genius.
But one of the things I wanted to say was real quick, then I'll move on. But it's like, so I'm a big fan of like character-driven like movies and comedy, and this is character-driven, but they don't really give any backstory or like any context on these characters. You don't really even get to know them. You're just kind of like here they are, and they're doing crazy stuff. Okay, all right, fine.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
douchebag frat boys.
Didn't really do anything for me halfway through it. Besides the two lead characters, like I was losing track of like who's who or like what's what, and like there's just random things happening, like cows coming out of the house, and I'm just like, why is this happening? I don't get it. But yeah,
because it's a frat, because it's the Delta frat, the ones that are about to get kicked off campus for doing dumb shit. They're constantly breaking shit and like having crazy parties for like when they get in trouble. Their solution is to have a toga party, even more parties, and do even more dumb shit. That's their solution.
That part's cool. Like actually, like the toga stuff really worked, and also when he climbs up the ladder to spy on the girls, and like he's just like literally staring at, but the girl like for some reason can't see him through the window or something. Just takes
she can see him. She's putting on a show for him. The fact that the whole point is that he's clanging the ladder as he's scooting left and right, and she's admiring the fact that somebody is finally it's because the joke is somebody's finally reacting to her because her boyfriend, the one jock guy or whatever, as she's giving him the hand job in the car, can't get it up and is disinterested in her. So now that somebody's finally interested in her, she's actually like getting excited about that because she's also the one where she's jerking him off in the car going, "Are you even trying? Well, maybe if you go a little faster," shit like that. Like that stuff is genius.
We'll move on. Papa West, what do you think?
Jordan, don't you love? You get one thing wrong while you're talking, and everyone just crucifies you for it.
Yeah,
isn't it the best?
I'm used to it.
I can't wait for that to happen to you, Richie. So I was way too young when I watched this film. My aunt was house sitting, and she invited me and my brother to come hang out with her. And so my brother, he was like, "Jacob, we have to watch this movie." Like, why? He's like, "Mom will kill us if she knows we watch this movie." I'm like, "We're watching this movie then." I was like 12 or 11. So it was probably like the first time I ever saw boobs. So that was great. And this is like pure, just turn your brain off and enjoy what's going on. You don't have to think about anything. Just enjoy just the craziness that's going on. But for some weird reason, what really stuck with me, there's that kid who's trying to brown nose the dean. There's like that one scene where he starts getting spanked by the dean. "Please, sir, may I have another? Please, sir, may I have
That's
another?"
Kevin Bacon. "Thank you, sir, may I have another? Thank you, sir, may I have another?" That's Kevin Bacon.
Oh my god!
First movies.
Bacon,
Wow.
That is cool. Yeah, that it's in it. But
so yeah,
what do you think?
that being said, it's an F here.
You can finish. Yeah. What do you think, Richie?
I brought it up. So.
He nodded up.
Oh yeah. You're right. So it'll stay in the S tier because it's all S's but me. So yeah, that's fine. Like I totally understand. Like I just like I really wanted to like it, and I just like why am I not liking this movie that everybody freaking loves? I'm like,
Jordan, when you come to visit me in September, before we go on a road trip, we're gonna watch Animal House again. I'm gonna show you exactly why this movie's fucking funny.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, because I'm willing to give it another shot.
We're gonna do a drunk watch along. I'm gonna get you fucking drunk, and we're gonna watch Animal House. It's gonna be great.
Oh, so that's the kicker. You have to be drunk.
Oh, acting like you don't get drunk, like you don't drink during all your shows, Henry. That's why you should love Animal House. Beer flows in this movie.
You have to be drunk to like this movie. That makes sense because I like.
Oh, I don't. I watch it casually.
I don't.
It works both ways.
Like Malcolm hasn't watched it because he didn't like the trailer.
Oh, shut up, Kiwi. Go away.
You
wouldn't understand.
Austin's trigger.
Also, he says Jim is the better Belushi.
What?
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Kick him out of the chat.
Jordan, look at my name that I changed it to.
Yeah, right.
I like how he says he got
the greater Belushi.
It also has been, entice to rush out and see it. You don't rush out and see it. You fucking, I don't know.
It's a 40-year-old movie.
Yeah.
You can watch it anytime. It's not like it's in theaters now. You got to catch it.
I think he's just having fun with us, but
I know.
But Henry, you're up. So what do you want to talk about?
All right, so when we're looking at the S tier movies, we're looking at a bunch of movies that, the comedy's fun, but like when you think of the plots, they're either silly or they're non-existent. I'm gonna go with the movie that has a fantastic plot, but it's also really funny, and that's Paper Moon.
Okay.
Ryan and Tatum O'Neal. Like I saw this movie. It was recommended. I was watching a show and it was recommended. Like they were like, "Oh, it's good. It's good." So I randomly just watched it, not really having high expectations because it just kind of just looking at the trailer, you don't even know what to expect from this movie. But it's about a man who finds a girl who may or may not be his daughter. It's kind of up in the air based on the plot. You don't know because he's kind of a scoundrel. But he goes around scheming people, and he sells Bibles to widows essentially. So right after their husbands pass away, he goes in there. He's like, "Oh yeah, your husband was about to buy this Bible, and he was actually going to buy it for you." And he did everything. It was kind of real sweet, and he kind of gets them while they're vulnerable. And it sounds cheap and crazy, and it is because he's kind of a scumbag. And the dynamic between the two, it's awesome because in real life they're father-daughter. And Tatum O'Neal, she was nominated for an Oscar, and she absolutely crushes it. I don't remember if she won. She either won or was nominated, but anyway, like they're fantastic. So like I said, it's one of the ones where like the plot itself is fantastic. It was actually nominated for an Oscar for the screenplay, and she was nominated. Madeline Kahn's also in this, similar to Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. So that's awesome to see potentially, like if this one gets S tier, that Madeline Kahn's in 3 S tiers. But yeah, this is one of those movies that going in, I had no expectations on it at all, let alone as a hilarious comedy, but it also tugs on the heartstrings and it's just really smart. So if you haven't seen it, I'm not sure exactly where it's going to lie, on the list, but if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it because it really surprised me and blew my socks off. This movie's awesome.
Yeah, sounds good. Chris, what do you think for Paper Moon?
I have not seen this movie.
Oh, okay.
So I really can't vote.
Sure, yeah. Well, Austin, have you seen it? Paper Moon?
I know John Hamm's a big fan of it, but I haven't seen it. Sorry, I didn't get around to it. We did this thing in too close between other shows, and I didn't get a chance to watch as many as I wanted to.
I think that's another reason I want to bring it up. I feel like it hasn't been talked up enough, but I highly recommend it.
Yeah, you can still bring it up. I mean, if it ends up in the haven't seen category, we usually give you another one.
Yeah,
so, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and surprise, I haven't seen it either. But when Austin sent me the list, I did a second check just to see if there's any movies that he might have missed on the list, and Paper Moon was ranked pretty high on like most of the 70s comedies list, but I just haven't gone around to see it.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, but Papa West, have you seen it?
I've never heard of this movie until just now.
Fucking
okay. No, you might be in the minority. Henry might be the only one.
I take that as a plus.
Richie, have you seen it?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but will eventually per Henry's recommendation.
Didn't Peter Bogdanovich just pass away? The guy directed this movie? Yeah.
Not out the box.
Yeah, so I probably should just in honor of Bogdanovich, but yeah, I'll try to get to it.
Yeah, so like I said, so it's one of those, cause the family dynamic, the father-daughter dynamic, and then he's a scoundrel like with the ladies, so just kind of like, is he a good father figure? Is he not? The way they talk to each other is just wild. It's hilarious, but it's also got a lot of emotion. So yeah. So nice. I get to go again.
Yeah, you can go again. If something gets thrown in the haven't seen, we give you another chance to nominate.
That was kind of my thing because I wanted to talk about 2, and now I get to. So the other one, this is one where it's one of those movies that similar to what I was just talking about with Paper Moon. This one's what you guys think about it, probably everyone's seen it, but it's a good plot, and a lot of people don't like this person, so it is what it is. But this movie breaks the fourth wall, and it is hilarious every time he does it, and that is Annie Hall. This is a movie that whenever he breaks the fourth wall and the jokes that he says, it's just wild and over the top, and you kind of don't expect it, and it's kooky, and it's just a blast. But the relationship between Woody Allen and she's Diane Keaton. Lane.
Yeah.
I would forget the 2. I'm like, oh, which one? But yeah, Diane Keaton, they're two very fleshed out characters, and they have their own identities, and everyone can relate to him just kind of being in awe of her, and her just kind of doing her own thing, but also still being a good character. Like, she's not like Jenny from Forrest Gump, where she just uses them and all that stuff. Like, she has interest in them, but like they kind of just don't always see eye to eye. And the movie's, like I said, hilarious every time it breaks the fourth wall. It's got a lot of charm to it. If you forget Woody Allen's name on it, and you just watch the movie as itself, it's a lot of fun. So won Best Picture, so it's a fun time.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, what do you think?
I don't like this movie at all.
Oh,
I mean, I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't get it. It was all right. It wasn't spectacular. I've seen it more than once too, Henry. So I've tried to like it. Okay, but I just can't do it. I mean, I don't want to throw it in. I'd probably throw it in D. I'm not going to throw it in F, just because I know that some people do really like Annie Hall.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Austin.
Yeah, I've seen Annie Hall. I saw it at a repertory, like one of those classic screenings at the theater. Probably like it's been a while. It's probably like 5 or 6 years ago. But I'm not really much of a Woody Allen guy overall. I've only seen a couple of his movies, but I kind of knew that this is one of the quintessential, ones you kind of have to see if you're at least going to see a Woody Allen movie. You see either Annie Hall or Manhattan. But I've seen this one. I think for the purposes of this list. If we're going to put like a rom-com in the S tier from the 70s, which I think is fair, I think Annie Hall would probably be the one. So I would back it up for S tier. I do think this is like the quintessential as far as like Woody Allen, like doing his thing, his kind of paranoid anxiety, questioning everything. Diane Keaton like bounces off of him really nicely in this movie. They have really good chemistry, and she's kind of the not the straight man, literally, but like she's the straight person of the two that kind of like levels him. You know what I mean? It's like the anchor of the movie where she's always just trying to calm his ass down and like get him to relax. I know like Christopher Walken shows up in this movie, right? And and like Shelley Duvall, like it's got a nice little supporting cast. Is this the one where Bill Murray shows up too at like the party or something? I can't remember, but
I think so.
Or if that's something else.
I think Jeff Goldblum's her brother. I think. Like,
There's a couple of little people that pop up here and there, just in little minor roles. But yeah, I think if we were gonna put like a 70s rom-com, Annie Hall, like I remember liking it a decent amount, and it I don't know if it convinced me to go watch more Woody Allen movies per se, but I was at least okay with this one.
I've seen other ones, and this is definitely my favorite. Like,
I kind of feel like if I liked this one but didn't like love it, I don't think I'm gonna love his other movies, but for purposes of this list, I think if we're going to put a Woody Allen movie in the S tier, which I think we should, it should be Annie Hall. Yeah, and the only thing I have against this movie is that it beat Star Wars for Best Picture that year. But other than that, which is kind of a crime. But that's really that's really it.
Well, so I have seen Annie Hall, and the first time that I saw it was actually on the big screen because I was working in the movie theater and they did a screening of it, and when I went into it, like I wasn't sure if I was really gonna like it, and I'll just say that I freaking love this movie. Like this movie was freaking great. Like I think that it's like one of the best written comedies that I've ever seen, and like just the way that he breaks the fourth wall and he's like he's talking to the audience. Like about his relationship, talking about why they haven't kissed or like how the sex is or like all these different things. He does it in like a really smart way and like a way that really gets you invested into these characters and their relationship too. But then they have some really witty lines, and it's not one of those ones that is like super quotable because you can't always remember all the lines because like it's probably smarter comedy than anything I could even hope to write or even like remember. So, But like I remember like really really liking this and I'm surprised I haven't gone back to it. I've only seen it the one time, but I really want to give it a second watch because I remember just loving this when I first saw it. So yeah, S tier all the way for me. So really surprised me. So Papa West.
Woody Allen's one of my blind spots, which a lot of people tell me that I will love his films. I just haven't had the chance to watch any of them yet. And Annie Hall's just one of those. I imagine I will love it. I just haven't taken the time to watch it yet.
Yeah. Richie?
Woody Allen's mostly a blind spot for me, but I've seen this, and I'm sort of on the same thought process as Austin. I appreciate this movie. I really like it. I think people probably younger film fans who maybe were aware of his work, before all that kind of scandal happened. Probably isn't aware that how kind of funny Woody Allen is, or was. And this movie's great, and I think the chemistry is sort of what is between Diane Keaton and Woody Allen's the strengths of this movie. But I don't love it, but I do appreciate it, and I think it is that iconic. It does deserve inclusion in the S tier. So
yeah. Well, we have 4 S's and a D because of Chris. So
yeah,
I mean, if we're gonna stay in the S, I think.
Yeah, it'll stay. It'll still stay over there. Yeah, regardless of that, because that's more than enough to still keep it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Animal House higher up?
Yeah.
By the way,
Animal they both had about the same.
Up.
Although Animal House had 1 C, but Annie Hall had 1 D. So Animal House is actually higher than Annie Hall. So Longest Yard is still teetering. Like we'll see where it ends up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But we're back around to Chris. So you got another one you want to talk about?
So I'm gonna go with this is tough because we have 2 Pink Panther movies on this list, but Peter Sellers is incredible in both of them. The writing is spot on. Peter Sellers was a comedy genius. I'm gonna go with Return of the Pink Panther. Absolutely.
In the middle. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Austin, I guess. Yeah.
The Pink Panther movies are just sadly a total blind spot for me. I have not dug into a single one of them. I know it's going to make Chris cringe. I've seen the one shitty Steve Martin movie. Speaking of Steve Martin, I've seen the one shitty Pink Panther movie. And don't get me wrong, I hated it. So I did not like it. I know of the Pink Panther. I've seen scenes, but I have not sat down to watch any of them, much less the sequels. So I haven't seen. I apologize, but I haven't. So I just haven't dug into it yet. But yeah.
Well, so actually, I have seen this movie, but it's been a really long time. I haven't seen it since I was a teenager, and remember it being really, really funny. And then I remember going to see the first Steve Martin Pink Panther movie, and I thought that it was bad. Then I saw the second Steve Martin one. They actually made a second one. It was so bad I walked out. It's one of the few movies that I've actually walked out. The second one is like one of the worst movies ever made. It is trash garbage. But the original Pink Panther movies, they're a fun series. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I remember Return of the Pink Panther being my favorite of them. So I mean, it's been a long time, but I still remember it being laugh out loud hilarious. Peter Sellers, he's great. So I think that they'll give it an S tier, but I think that it kind of is a pretty low S tier, just kind of along the lines of the Longest Yard, which I haven't seen it, but hovering around the edge of the S tier for me. So in that regard, but Papa West.
So really, what got me into the Pink Panther was the first Steve Martin film. And I fell in love with it. I really liked that one. I liked it so much that I had to watch all of the other Pink Panther movies. I had to figure out.
Did you buy an hamburger?
No, I did. I used that as in a world geography project about France. French people can't talk. There you go. But no, I did end up watching. I don't remember if I watched all of them, but I definitely watched most of the Peter Sellers Pink Panther movies, and I was like, I understand why I needed to watch this. It just the whole he's a bumbling idiot, and everything just goes right while everything goes wrong is hilarious. Smart writing. Just super clever. I'd go with S tier on it.
Yeah. Sounds good. Richie?
Yeah, I'm sort of the same with as Austin. I've seen 2 shitty Steve Martin movies. Apparently, I like to punish myself. Apparently, I don't know. I'll just watch anything. So yeah, I think Peter Sellers in general is a huge blind spot. So I will get around to it. I haven't seen.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
so growing up, I was a huge Pink Panther fan in terms of the TV show. I loved that. It was like Pink Panther and Scooby-Doo were like two of my ones where I just love the mystery aspect and just the it's one of the most iconic theme songs. So when I watched the first Peter Sellers one, because I was just really hyped for it at the time, I was just getting into classics. So I loved Peter Sellers and Doctor Strangelove and Lolita. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm really excited for this because Pink Panther, Peter Sellers, it's banger. But the first Pink Panther was just straight mid. Like it was just it wasn't bad by any means. It just didn't get to where I wanted to be. So all the reviews I've heard is it gets better into the series because it starts to develop what it's going for. But because of the first one, I hadn't like gone out of my way to see any of the other ones. So I'm excited to finally give them a chance. But yeah, I haven't seen this one yet.
Yeah. Well,
it's got 3 votes and 3 S tier votes, so it'll still teeter, but like I think it'll barely scoot in. It might at this point it might knock out Longest Yard. Honestly, I
think it's ahead of Longest.
Longest Yard it's barely hanging on. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're back around to you, Austin. So
I'll talk about another one I watched for the first time this weekend. And surprisingly, really, really liked it. I'm not going to shoot for S. I'm going to shoot for A tier and see if we can just get some ones of those A tiers. I'm going to go Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke for A tier.
Oh, I love that freaking movie.
So
you stole my pick, yeah.
No, I mean, I had never actually sat down and watched any of the Cheech and Chong movies like straight through. I've seen pieces here and there. I've seen clips. I'm going for A. I'm not going for S. Totally. Yeah. I'm going for A. I think it's a really, really solid A, like A plus. But yeah, I was going into it, not wanting to hate it, but like I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this because it's just like stoner movie, whatever. It was way smarter than I thought it was gonna be, especially this movie, being the first one. Like it's really, really well written and well performed. It kind of hit that Beavis and Butthead note for me, where it was like so dumb that it was smart. In a lot of the ways, like a lot of the gags actually worked. A lot of the back and forth between him and Chong is actually really, really funny. Where he's talking about like that they're smoking dog shit. He's like, you're smoking Labrador, man. Like, he's like, we're smoking dog shit. He's like, yeah, man, I had to follow around the dog for 3 days to get that shit back, man. He's like, well, this is Labrador. I wonder what Great Dane tastes like, man. Like, all this shit was actually really funny. I just thought, like, for being a stoner comedy, like, I was really getting into it and found myself chuckling like a lot throughout the movie, like pretty consistently. And I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. I don't know if I go S tier, like quite high, but I think it's a perfect like honorable mention kind of area, like strong A. And it makes me want to watch. I know the first 2 are good because I know their next movie is supposed to be pretty good too, and then it kind of goes downhill after that, apparently. But I at least want to see that one as well and roll through it. So yeah, Up in Smoke. I think it's a really strong A and a lot smarter than I thought it was going to be, and really funny. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So like for me, like this is the quintessential stoner movie for me. Like Tommy Chong is like the stoner of all stoners. Yeah, and there's so many scenes that just made me laugh so hard. Like when the cop pulls him over, and then he's like, "License, please." He's like, "Hey, it's on the back, man. The license."
Hey, it's on the back, man. No, not license plate. License. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's on the paper, man. Oh yeah, Pedro. Yeah, that's my name. It's right there on the paper."
Yeah. Or like in the beginning when we. Like smoking that like massive joint, and he like pulled it out. He's like, "That's not a joint. Here's a joint," and they start smoking it, and then
it looks like a paper towel holder. The thing's fucking massive.
Just like totally like shocked. He's like, "What the hell, man?" And he's like trying to smoke it, but he can barely get it in his mouth. He's trying to like it's so funny. Yeah, like the Cheech and Chong movies are great, and I think that it all starts with Up in Smoke. And even if some of the sequels aren't as good, I mean, like you go back to the first one. And even if you don't love every single movie, if you like the characters, you're gonna at least like some of the sequels. So yeah, for me, I give this movie an S tier. Like I love Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke. Like, it's one that I've seen 5 or 6 times. Like Like it's a really
fair
funny
enough.
movie,
If I'd
so,
seen it more, I might put it in S tier. But for right now, I was just kind of sticking with A. But I still praising it. Like I still like it.
Yeah. But Papa West, what do you think?
I kind of have it a little bit lower than Austin. I'd probably say low A, high B. I watched this for the first time a couple of years ago, before I was a stoner. Just kidding, I'm still not a stoner. So
Me neither.
I feel a lot of the stuff went over my head. But it definitely did have some funny moments. So I say
A. Okay.
Yeah, sounds
Papa
good.
West is internet connection's high right now.
Yeah, right. The internet connection has been smoking, but
someone has to here.
Richie?
So.
Yeah,
And what do you think?
I actually think that the Beans and Butter comparison is actually a very good comparison. It's sort of so dumb it's sort of smart, but also so dumb it's like there's a charm, the kind of there's a charmness to it. It's like you kind of these guys who are just so just so like I don't know. It's just I really enjoyed Cheech and Chong. Believe it or not, I don't even know if that's when I was like probably even before I was a teenager, I think my mum and dad got me into this movie. They were really big Cheech and Chong guys, and I went and saw Cheech and Chong live, thinking probably about a decade ago. So yeah, I've been a huge Cheech and Chong guy for a while. But yeah, I'd put this in S tier, to be honest. I find this really watchable. I wish all the other movies were as good as this one, but yeah, can't have everything. But yeah, Up in Smoke's great.
All right.
Yeah.
So as a Latino, I'm really bummed out that I've never seen this one, because this is one that like my uncle would like quote and reference all the time, like growing up, because never really a movie guy, but just kind of like the culture. And like when you just mentioned like the scene with the big the joint that was the size of like the toilet paper roll, it was just, or the paper towel, and it's like one of those things where it's like a lot of that stuff's memed, and it's like I just know a lot of it, and I just love the concept of Cheech and Chong when they pop up in other stuff, and I just I really enjoy their style of humor and just the stupid stuff that they do and the antics. So it's one of those where it's really bummed out it wasn't free to watch. So similar, I'm starting a new job. I started a new job yesterday. So if the next one, I'll be able to just pay for all the shit I haven't seen and watch for the first time. But, yeah, unfortunately, this time I did not.
I need to give Henry access to my Vudu as well, along with the 30 other people that have my Vudu, so you can watch my 900 movies on there, and I have all these on there, so you can just watch everything. Yeah, I know.
But physical media, Austin.
I do. I have both. I've got 2,300 physical movies and 900 on Vudu. I spent a lot of money on movies. Yeah,
a lot of money. But
all my job money goes to movies. That's all I do. Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, Chris, what do you think?
So I love Cheech and Chong Up a Smoke. One of my favorite scenes that I feel like I always quote it is that where the cop pulls me over. You're knocking, but you can't come in.
Freaking hilarious! You can't come in.
Yeah, absolutely one of the funniest scenes on a movie. But yeah, Cheech and Chong is just comedy gold. The way they play off one another is amazing.
Great chemistry.
It's an absolute S tier. God, I think it should be in front of Return of the Pink Panther. And let's knock down Longest Yard to A.
Yeah.
Well, with 3 and 2, it'll scoot up barely into S tier, but it'll scoot up into S tier, at least at the bottom of S tier. Yeah. So, all right.
We need to put it there for now.
Well, we have exactly 10 now, so if something else has more votes than the Longest Yard is definitely getting booted on the next one. So we'll see. All right, Jordan.
Well, the sad thing is that we're already kind of getting into like the part where like there's almost no movies that I've seen left on here. There's a couple, though. I mean, but yeah. So I mean, we kind of have to just like go forward.
Pick something you've seen, even if it's not good.
Yeah. But so I want to talk about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and how I think that it's not a comedy. Like I just don't.
Yes, it is. Oh yes, it fucking is.
Oh yeah.
For me.
Yes, it is.
Well, for me, this is an S tier movie, but I don't really find anything that makes me laugh except for the Veruca Salt stuff. That's the only thing that really makes me really laugh. I mean, like nothing else really it does. I mean, the Violet stuff kind of like a little bit, but it just doesn't really make me laugh. So maybe like it might be a comedy, but it's just doesn't make me laugh. But I still think that it's an S tier movie. So it's like, what is that saying? Like, I think it's an S tier, but even though I don't laugh at it, so like for me, like I gotta say that it's not a comedy. It doesn't really have enough like comedy in it. It has more like musical stuff and like drama stuff and just like a family like style the movie, even a few horror elements. But like, yeah, this movie's all over the place. But I still think that it's a great movie. But I gotta say that it's not a comedy. So we'll see what you guys think. But Papa West. What do you think?
No movie has ever made me want to punch little kids in the face more than this movie. You look at all 4 of those kids who go to the chocolate factory with Charlie, and they're assholes. The comedy is watching Augustus, because he's such a fat ass, try to drink chocolate out of river and fall in. That's pure comedy right there. I'm a little interested to see what you see as horror. There's definitely that one weird scene where
in the tunnel, where it's like no one knows which way we're going. Yeah,
that is creepy as fuck. But that's like the only thing that's horror. And there's
I think he was just trying to say it got a bunch of everything, but comedy is not really high on the list.
One little scene,
and like some of the Slughorn stuff where he's like creeping around the shadows too. That's a little bit like horror-ish.
Yeah, suck on that, Papa. He's got 2.
Well, Henry, no one likes you. So.
People are correcting Papa West left and right, aren't they? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like I suck at trivia or something. I definitely understand where this is a comedy film, but I am not a huge fan of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I much prefer Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
No. Oh, you're fired. Nope. Nope. Goodbye.
No, I would rate this as a B.
Like, so I haven't even been on this show yet.
Sorry, Papa
and I was
West.
like, Papa West, come on.
No, we'll see what everyone else thinks. So, Richie, what do you think?
I agree with Austin. Yes, it's not like laugh per minute or anything like that, but it's definitely played for laughs a lot of the time. You know, a fair amount of time to call it a comedy. It is a comedy. It's not as statistically a comedy as a lot of the other things, and so especially the S tier. So I wouldn't call it an S tier comedy, but it's still, a decent comedy that I would actually. It's weird how in a roundabout way I'm going to still put it in the same spot as Papa West did. So I would put it as a B, but it is a comedy
because you guys are best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one of the ones that I rewatched it about 2 months ago, because it gets brought up on these shows a lot. So I was like, all right, I want to familiarize myself with it, and kind of at least have something to say, since it's going to get brought up every other episode. And I think it's a good movie. I think it's good. It's not a favorite. I have nothing negative to say about it. It's just one of those where, like, the plot is, so thin. You know what I mean? It starts off, with the family stuff, and then it goes straight to the chocolate factory. Like, that's it. And it's charming and it's fun. But I mean, sure, there's a couple giggles here and there, but I'm either going to go with the not a comedy, or I'll go with the B. You know what I mean? It's whatever, you want to go with. So I'll go not a comedy to drag it down, just in case we get a couple S tiers. So not a comedy.
Yeah, does anyone else think that the Oompa Loompas are kind of freaky? There's another horror element. The freaking Oompa Loompa. Like, what are they? Where do they come from? Who are they? I don't know. But
that's actually expanded upon in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
The superior movie, right, Papa West?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the better movie.
The superior movie.
Going on.
But Chris, what do you think?
Shit. I went in this and I was like, this is definitely a comedy, like this is S tier and everything else. But based on everything else everyone else kind of said, you're right. It's a fucking weird, dark comedy. It's more like satirical, is more sarcastic. But but you definitely cannot say that the new movie is better than this. No,
Some might say.
no. If they're insane,
You can't say
yeah.
it, but you'd be wrong. But you can say it.
You get nothing,
Yeah.
sir.
So, but I agree. I'd have to put it in, but it's not superior either. I mean, I'd say it's probably A. I definitely wouldn't put it in B or C though.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Well, Austin, what do you
This
think?
movie is absolutely a comedy. It's a dark comedy, but it's a goddamn comedy. Look, it's look,
Yeah.
like even the stuff in the beginning. Yeah, every time they visit one of the kids, there's comedy. I mean, Augustus Gloop's dad eats the microphone when they go to interview him, which is fucking hilarious. And like it's just him being a fat ass. Like the chemistry between Veruca Salt and her dad is great. Like her dad is one of the great
Always funny when
performers in that
someone's a
movie. I
fat
think he's
ass.
funny. Dude, the teacher at the school, all of his scenes are damn funny. When he just introduces the one scene where he's just like, I've decided to change our Friday schedule to Monday so that if we would take our quiz, it'll be Monday before we've learned it and shit. Like that stuff is hilarious. And then all the stuff when Gene Wilder finally shows up is funny. It's darkly hilarious when he's doing the stop, don't come back, help, police, murder. Like the sarcastic, like nature of his character is really funny. Like Gene Wilder, like throughout the 70s, had great comedy characters, and like I think Willy Wonka, his being a sarcastic ass is like what I love about that character. I think it's a comedy, even though it's not billed as a comedy. I think there's a ton of comedy in the movie, and I would probably put it in the A tier as far as like 70s comedies go, because yeah, it's not as wildly funny as something like Blazing Saddles or the Monty Python stuff or whatever, but I still think it deserves to be up there, and I think it absolutely is a comedy.
Well, fair enough. So it sounds like maybe A tier is probably where
It's one of those where it's like,
gonna
yeah,
go.
sure, technically Fargo is a comedy, but when you're thinking of like comedies of the decade, it's not going to be in the S tier.
Yeah,
true.
So I respect
Fargo
it.
It is
comedy.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're back around to Papa West. So do you got another one you want to talk about?
Yeah, I really wish most of these movies would open up with the Chocolate Factory with puppets singing, and then it all bursts into flames.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Whipped cream is not considered whipped until it has been properly whipped by whips. That's hysterical.
Yeah.
But we're not going to that. Go and scroll up just a little bit, Jordan. A little bit more, and stop right there. This is one I really want to talk about. Is the quintessential B movie, and that is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That's that weird thing
Yay.
trying to push itself out of that can. I'm gonna list it at B, because it is
Alright.
it is the quintessential B movie. This movie has balls, and
Red
that look like
balls.
tomatoes. It starts out making fun of Alfred Hitchcock's Birds. It's like when Birds came out, everybody laughed, and then Birds actually attacked. And it takes that the birds and it turns it into giant tomatoes. And they're not animated or anything. They're just like plastic tomatoes. One of the best scenes. There's a police officer. He's just standing at a garage door screaming. And you can just see this huge ass tomato just get pushed closer and closer to him until it squishes him. So many people just running away from a random tomato just rolling at you. It is. I said Animal House was great. Turn your mind off and just enjoy the show. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is turn your mind off and sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah. That sounds good. Richie?
Yeah, this movie's dumb, but that's not a criticism. It is dumb. This movie's fucking I enjoy it. Yeah, you can have tons of enjoy this movie. It's a great parody of The Birds and great parody of movies like, if you remember really old movies like Day of the Triffids and stuff like that. But this it's just like like I don't know, you can't really fully critique this movie. It is what it is. It knows what it is. B is a perfect place for it. So
Yeah.
So, fun fact: this is the only movie that I actually did watch for the first time for this because I started to get into like the schlocky type of movies. So it's like even if I didn't think it was like a favorite movie of all time, it could be like one of those. Hey, if I'm hammered and I want to watch in the background, like right now, like if I put something on in the background, I could just look over and have a blast. The first about like 20 minutes, I was like really intrigued. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going for. This is what I signed up for. And then it just gets fucking boring. Like it gets once the shtick gets old, it doesn't do anything different. Like Rubber from 2010. It's one of those where at least in Rubber, it's actually like, gruesome because, the tires actually like smashing people's heads. Whereas like this one, it's just, I don't know. It's not quite there yet. I would be down for a remake for this and have some fun with that. But yeah, unfortunately the last, the last hour, it just got to a point where I'm like, oh my God, is you really going to do anything? Cause it started messing with the people and it just, I don't know. I was bored to tears after the first 20 minutes. So I'll say D cause it's the first 20 minutes is decent. It's got promise.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Chris, what do you think?
I think B is a good spot for it. I don't hate it. I mean, I don't love it. It's just, you gotta just turn your brain off and sort of enjoy it for what it is. It's not an amazing movie, but it's fun.
Yeah. Well, Austin.
Yeah, I thought about putting it on for the thing. I have an Attack of the Killer Tomatoes T-shirt in my closet. I should have worn it for this, but I think it's a lot of fun. It's a perfect little B movie for what it is. Like it's not trying to be anything great. I mean, there's literally a scene where one of the tomatoes is chasing after these people, and you can literally see the cart it's being pulled on with the wheels like under it, like being pulled along the thing. Like they don't even try to really hide it. Like they're just pulling this cart with the wheels under it, and like there's even stuff where it's parodying Jaws, where it's like in the water, like just floating along, like chasing somebody. Like it's all ridiculous and completely fake. They're not even trying to, hide the fact that they're paper mache, tomatoes or whatever. But it's still a lot of fun. Oddly enough, the sequel, Return of the Killer Tomatoes, is more of just a straight comedy, like not even trying to be like horror comedy, because it's got like George Clooney and John Astin and a couple of like other character actors like floating around, and it's just more of like it's almost like a parody of the original movie 10 years later. So I would actually encourage people to go see it. It's kind of off the wall bonkers, but yeah, this one's still fun. I would put it in B tier.
Yeah, well, I've not seen Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but I remember watching the cartoon when I was a kid. I remember those kind of weird random songs. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. They'll beat you, bash you, squish you, mash you, like all that stuff. So yeah, like yeah. So like that was fun as a kid, but I haven't seen this movie, so I can't really comment. So. But it sounds like mostly B tier. So yeah. I mean, like probably B is about right. So I'll leave it there. The B was looking lonely, so I needed something.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Rick, show us your D. I mean, your D tier pick you're gonna pick because that tier.
No, I know. I don't think this is D. I don't think this is S either. But I'll put it because I think we also mentioned sports comedies before, and I think we need more sports comedies. But one of the better ones, I think, one of the better hockey movies is Slapshot.
Slapshot.
I love this movie. I think it's full of fun. Paul Newman is really great for the movie. Yeah, it's just credible lines. The one seems like the coach is like, look, there's a big crowd out here, so I want you to try and have a great game. It's like you spent 15 hours on the bus to tell us that. Great inspiration, but yeah, I don't think it's S tier or anything like that, but I really do enjoy this movie. So yeah, I think I'd punt for an A, but I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, so this was one that I watched this around the same time that I watched Miracle, and because I'm a big hockey fan, and it's one of those where it's like, all right, I want to watch some of these movies because I want to get some representation of a sport that I actually love to watch, and I just was very underwhelmed by this. So I don't know but similar to Miracle the first time I watched it, when I rewatched it, I actually really liked it. So I don't know if it was just a weird time where I was just being overly harsh and critical on it, but I just remember not really like laughing, and then just the plot is just silly. Like, what are they, the Hanson brothers? I remember them being okay because they're the bruisers, you know what I mean? They're the ones just fighting and acting a fool and stuff, and it's all right. And then I love Paul Newman, so it's like I know I went in this a lot of hype, so maybe I overhyped it for myself. So without having rewatched it, I can't really say where I'd put it, but based on my memory, I'm gonna go C.
All right, sounds good. Chris, what do you think?
I actually have not seen it, but Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it now. I'm gonna check it out. It's on Tubi.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Yeah. Austin.
Yeah, I think in a couple weeks when we talk about winter sports movies, I would probably like try to shoot for S tier for Slapshot. As far as the bigger pantheon of 70s comedies, I'm kind of in the same vein as Richie. I would shoot for an A. I think it's pretty solid. It is very on PC. Let's just put it away. They throw the word faggot around a lot in this movie, just very casual. So if you're aversion to that, to that word in particular, I would advise you not to watch this movie. But then again, it's the 70s. Yeah.
There's literally a line where she's like, oh, she's talking about someone else. She's like, she's a dyke. She looks pussy. She's like, okay.
She's a dyke. She's a lesbian. She's a lesbian. She's a lesbian. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's very 70s. But but if you can get past that and put it in the context of the movie, it's still fun. Like I said, when we talk about those movies, hockey, figure skating, the winter sports stuff, I might shoot a little higher, but I wouldn't put it in the same vein as Animal House or The Jerk or anything like that as far as comedies goes. But I would still go A for Slapshot.
So what are the? Well, actually, for me, I haven't seen it. So,
you haven't seen it. Well, yeah, no. I would definitely recommend, Jordan, when we get to winter sports, I would recommend it when we get to there. You know what I mean? So you can talk about it there.
Because I think you might actually like it, to be honest. Like just based on like, the you like, I think you'll like it, Jordan.
Well, there's a couple of guys from the online community. They're from Canada. They're like really big on this movie. So like I know a lot of Canadians like it because they're like probably more into hockey than the rest of us. But
they like this movie, eh?
yeah. but yeah. So
it's only 3 votes. It's 2 A's and a C. So maybe top of B, above Tomatoes, maybe.
Yeah.
Do I not get a vote?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, Papa West.
I have seen it actually, Austin.
Okay.
Just makes me, it made me want to want to start watching hockey. I can't get into the sport though, but I do actually really like this film. And also I have to agree with you. Like as far as comedies go, it's not a great comedy, but it is super funny. So I'd go A on it.
Okay.
And hopefully get it above Willy Wonka.
So 3 A's and then B.
It was 3 A's. It might go up to like low.
3 A's and a C. It bumps up to maybe low A. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Whose turn is it?
Mine.
Henry.
So,
okay. Yeah, Henry.
Go to the list. Just see if there's anything that I might want to.
Yeah.
If there's anything that the people are super passionate about. There's this stuff I've seen, but we'll see if there's anything super
I have one that I'm super passionate about. Wait, let me make sure it's on here. Actually, now. I don't see it. Scroll up, please. I'm sorry.
What is it?
Okay, I see it. So I have one that I'm super passionate about, and this movie sucks. High Anxiety. I'm a massive Hitchcock fan, and so I know all the references. Right next to Kentucky Fried. So I know all the references for this movie, and it just doesn't do anything for me. Like this is an F. This movie is boring as shit. Literally on my Letterboxd review, I said laughed once when it sounded like he was coming while he was dying. So it's just one of those where it's like that's the only thing, and then probably I was just happy that he was dying. So it's just I don't know. I did not like this movie. I've watched it actually twice. Well, I watched the first 40 minutes once, and then I gave it another shot. I'm like, all right, maybe I just was in the mood. I was tired. Like I said, I love Hitchcock movies. I know all the references that it's going for in this, and it's just nothing worked for me. And it's just, at least with Spaceballs, I was like, oh, I laughed a couple times, sure. And then the producers, I'm like, oh, maybe a chuckle here. And this one, literally nothing. This is boring, and it's dog water. So, yeah, I hate this movie.
Sure, yeah. Well, Chris, have you seen it?
I actually have not seen High Anxiety. But based on your description, I probably would actually avoid it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if anyone else has anything good to say about it. Austin, what do you think?
So I watched High Anxiety this weekend for the first time because I was trying to fill in a few of my Mel Brooks gaps, and I give it an A. I really thought it was fucking entertaining. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the Hitchcock shit in it, and I thought it was because it's kind of a parody of all of his stuff, like Vertigo, The Birds. There's even a little bit of like non-Hitchcock, like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest type stuff, because he's at like a mental hospital. But like I enjoyed just how everybody in this movie seems like they're just having a blast. Like it's again. again, it's a lot of his same people. It's Mel Brooks, it's Harvey Korman, Madeline Kahn, Dick Van Patten, kind of a lot of the usual suspects you see in Mel Brooks movies. But it looks like everybody's just laid back, having a good time, just being silly. Like it's probably his overall silliest movie, like just everybody just having fun. I fucking enjoyed High Anxiety, man. Like I would recommend it, Chris. Like I'm sorry, I'm the complete opposite. I liked it.
All right,
I
well, I'll
liked it.
definitely check it out, man.
I liked it. I thought
know
it was
you
fun.
like Mel Brooks.
I thought it was fun.
I know
Yeah,
that,
I'm not
I
a
know
Mel
you
Brooks
hate
hater.
Mel Brooks.
I don't hate Mel Brooks. I like Mel Brooks. So yeah,
I
I really enjoyed it.
I love how Chris is easily swayed. It's like, oh,
right.
You know what?
Yeah, maybe.
Rock the
Definitely
boat.
avoid it. No,
Rock
definitely
the
check it
boat.
out.
Read between the lines, bitch.
Yeah. But so what's the movie about though? Like if you were to like describe what
So
it's
it's
Your
like
mom
Mel
will
Brooks. He's a psychiatrist, and he gets promoted to like this mental hospital. Like he's going to be the director after this one guy dies. But there's kind of a conspiracy as to why the other guy's gone, and like again, it's a send up of a lot of like Hitchcock stuff. Like it's like people working against him. He's kind of paranoid. He gets like framed at one point for like a murder. So it's kind of like it's got a little bit of like North by Northwest here and there, like stuff like that. So it's like a little bit of like parodies of Hitchcock, but it's just him like he's always like freaking out every time he sees like the heights thing like in Vertigo and all kinds of stuff. But like it's just got a lot of like to be fair, it seems like a lot of different kind of sketches like put together like in different situations. It's more of like one of those Mel Brooks movies where it's like kind of like set up, sketch, something like that. Lightly strung together with a light story, but I still thought it was entertaining and fun. Like overall.
I guess my other thing is with this is like I said, even with like the producers and Spaceballs, I could tell that they're at least having a narrative. In this one, it's like we're telling a joke, and it's actively trying to be funny versus just letting the story, naturally be funny. And that's why I think I despise it even more, because I'm like, it's just in your face, like, hey, we're trying so hard, and I just did not like that. So maybe
I was just in the right mood for it. Like I just liked it. I was in the mood for silly shit like this weekend because I was watching that and I was watching Up in Smoke, like just laid back silly stuff, and I really, really liked it. So
yeah. Well, obviously I haven't seen it, but I'm a huge Mel Brooks fan, so I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, be a completionist. Watch it anyway and formulate your own opinion. Maybe
yeah. Why not?
Exactly. Because even though I love Mel Brooks, there's about 3 of his movies that I haven't seen. And
well, even for the 80s one, I had never sat down and watched History of the World. I watched that one for that one, even though it didn't really come up on the show. But like, I was trying to like complete because I've got the Blu-ray box set. I was just trying to kind of fill in those gaps. And like, I've at least liked everything I've seen. Like maybe not loved every single one of them, but like I've at least liked everything so far.
Yeah. Well, Papa West, what do you think? Have you seen it?
Austin, I tried to bring up History of the World right at the very end when we were throwing out.
Oh, it didn't have crossovers? Yeah.
No crossovers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It should have, because it's great. I am a Mel Brooks fan, but just like Jordan, there are a couple that I have not seen, and High Anxiety, unfortunately, is one of those. But it looks like it's on HBO Max, so maybe after watching Peacemaker, I'll watch it.
Yeah, definitely prioritize Peacemaker.
Yeah.
So great.
Well, I feel like if you go in with the right mindset, like if you know that it's going to be a zany kind of like slapstick all over comedy, then if you go with that mindset, maybe you'll enjoy it more. I don't know.
That's why I said, like, it was just boring to me. Like, I would even be cool with that. I just got nothing out of it. So I'd maybe be giving it one more chance for you, Austin. But yeah, I don't know. I have it as a 1 star. Like, I hate it.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. We'll rank Mel Brooks in the future, and I'll rank it really high, and you can rank really low on Let's Rank stuff, and you can put it at the bottom of your list, and I'll put it in like my top 4.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, well, that'd give me an excuse to finish it off, because I still haven't watched Silent Movie or 12 Chairs, so that would give me an excuse to like go back and finish the thing if we ranked them. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Richie.
I think as was talked about, I think like if you like, sort of comedies with like kind of a distinct plot, maybe just hides up. It is sort of just more it's thinly veiled plot with it's more sort of sketch. it's very thinly veiled. But yeah, I do. I don't know. You're gonna be in the right mood. I had a lot of fun with this too. I don't know if I'd put A, but I'd put a solid B. It's not one of those better ones, but it's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, what are the votes?
So we have at least
for it?
we have at least 3 votes, so it'll be up on the chart. So we got an A, B, and an F. So I don't know, maybe C tier. I think it's
cool
better
with
than Rocky
B.
Horror Picture Show for fucking sure.
Either high
Yeah,
C or
I
low
think
B.
yeah.
I feel like it averages out.
Yeah,
decent,
it's way better than Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Way
We'll
better.
leave it there. Yeah. So
Now I need to watch Rocky Horror now. So in hindsight, I'm like, all right, at least I have an opinion. That's the one.
Well, I mean, literally, what he said, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate
exactly.
it. Like, I don't think there's
You're
much
gonna
in
hate it.
between.
Rocky,
Like, you're either
after
gonna
this,
adore
my
it or you're
take
gonna
is
hate
I
it.
want to watch Rocky
Very
Horror and Animal House. Those are the
precise.
two now I definitely want to prioritize because I want to have an opinion.
Yeah. Well, Chris, you're up next. So what do you?
Yeah.
Just your opinion, man.
So I want to actually, you know what? Every Which Way But Loose.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood and the chimpanzee
Was
is
it here?
incredible.
Yeah.
Movie's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'd never really seen it before. My roommate raved about it, and he's like, "Dude, this movie's so funny. You got to check it out." And I'm like, "Okay." So I watched it, and it blew me away. It is comedy gold. The acting with the chimp.
Comedy gold is strong.
Yeah, I love this movie. I probably wouldn't necessarily put it in S, but I would probably definitely put it at the top of A tier.
What's this movie called?
All right. Yeah.
Every Which Way But Loose.
But loose.
There's 2 movies. There was a sequel too. It's Clint Eastwood and a monkey. Yeah.
What do you think, Austin?
Boy, comedy gold is a strong term for this movie. I wouldn't use those exact words. Look, I caught this one on TV actually, like a few weeks ago when I was at my parents' house, just hanging out. Like my dad had it on, and so that's the only way I've seen it. But a comedy classic is very strong. I would not say it was a comedy classic. I thought it was amusing. It's basically just Clint Eastwood driving around and he's like fighting dudes in these like parking lot brawls and like the monkey's there, and then eventually the monkey starts like fighting. It's not as wacky as you would think it is based on the premise, which is why it's not that funny. Like it's just kind of a meandering movie where he's just kind of going from scene to scene like with this. It's like. It's no Ed, it's better than Ed,
right?
Because at least Clint Eastwood, it's a fine Sunday afternoon cable watch, but to put it in like say it's one of the great 70s comedies, no, I'd put it in like a C tier. It's fine. It's an okay little afternoon watch, but like I would not put it in the pantheon of comedy classics. No.
Yeah. This is one that I have seen, but the thing is, though, like my ex-wife tried to show me this because she really likes it, and she was like cracking up the entire time, and like I was kind of bored, honestly. Like I just was like on my phone, and like I was doing some other stuff for like work and some other things, so I wasn't really like totally focused on it. So like maybe I need to give it another rewatch, but there wasn't really anything that was just grabbing my attention. Like it had some amusing moments, but it wasn't anything that.
Hey,
that
the
really
best thing about it is the theme song. I like the song. Every which way but loose, every which way but loose. It's like a laid back kind of country western song. It's kind of nice. It's a casual, nice little song. But that's like the best thing about it.
The things that made me laugh about are the things that like I don't think they're really supposed to be that funny. I mean, kind of just like Clint Eastwood given like just like his little one-liners that he always gives like in almost every movie. He does a few of those with the monkey, and so like it's kind of funny. But like I think that a lot of them are actually meant to be like more serious than anything, but they just make you laugh because he's saying them to a monkey. So yeah, but like I would give it a C though overall. So, but Papa West, what do you think?
I can't watch movies with people and monkeys in them ever since watching Dunstan Checks In because that was such a tough watch. Like nothing's gonna beat this. So this is one I actually have never heard of until just right now. So
yeah.
You never watch MVP and the Most Valuable Primate?
I'm gonna watch that for our winter sports. I'm gonna watch Ed with hockey. I'm gonna watch that and report on that one for Tier Ranker. That's coming up in my list.
I don't know why they think they should keep putting monkeys in movies, but I guess I don't know. They keep doing it.
Yeah. There's a snowboarding one too. I think I'll have to watch that one. It's called Most like Extreme Primate, like MXP. I think I have to watch both. Wow. Unfortunately, I have to report back for that episode. It's gonna be terrible.
So basically, it's Air Bud with monkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I've seen this movie. Haven't seen it in a long time, barely. But yeah, this was obviously like before. I think the '90s obsession was just adding fucking monkeys to everything. So at least, at least, then it was sort of refreshing, and it is kind of. I guess thought that the premise is kind of humorous, where the straight laced sort of. You usually not know comedy Clint Eastwood is paired with this sort of the comic fodder, which is a monkey. But yeah, I remember enjoying it. I would not. I don't think it's like the pantheon of comedy or anything like that. I would definitely. I would say it's a solid. You can have entertainment. You can have fun with it. I would say solid C.
Yeah. Well, Henry, have you seen it?
No, I never heard of it. So yeah.
Okay.
I don't even sound that interested.
Yeah, it's not one you need to go out of your way to see. Like literally, I only saw it because it was like on AMC or something, like on a Sunday, where we were like, hanging out at my dad's house. Like that was pretty much the only reason I've seen it. Yeah, it's a dad movie. Dads like this movie.
It's a dad movie.
Yeah,
for sure. So yeah. Well, 3 C's and an A is probably in C, but it might be the top of C, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Top of
or like
C.
mid C.
It's around there.
Top of C.
Yeah. You could do a top of C. Sure.
Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
Last time we're ever going to talk about it.
Yeah, it's whatever.
It's the only time it's going to show up anywhere. But Austin, you got one you want to talk about?
I'm not super passionate about the other ones left. Maybe Bad News Bears, but I'll talk about some other one. I'll talk about the most disappointing comedy of the 70s, and it's one I watched for Spielberg, and that's 1941. So 1941, I watched for when we did our Spielberg tier ranker, and while I wouldn't put it in F tier because there are some things that are okay about it, it's just disappointing. It's D for disappointing, because you would think that with Spielberg at the helm, with the cast that he has and all the people that show up, because you've got Belushi, you got Dan Aykroyd, like John Candy, like a crazy amount of people are in this movie. Like you even got like the nerd guy from Grease, like Eugene, like shows up in this movie. Like all these people that you recognize, but it's supposed to be like this big sort of epic movie, but it's just a series of sketches, but it's a series of sketches kind of that doesn't work, and it just builds this big like explosive finale and this big Main Street, but you're just kind of disinterested in the whole thing. I just thought like for the talent involved, I just thought it was probably one of the more disappointing things you'll ever see. I think it's a fascinating movie. I would encourage people to at least see it once, because you kind of have to see how much of a disaster it is when it all comes together, and that he was coming off of Jaws and Close Encounters. Like this is what he did in between Close Encounters and Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it definitely got back on track later. But if you want to see kind of his attempt at a big epic comedy, this is it, and it just most part just doesn't work. So while I don't think it's like the worst thing ever, like there's some people who think it's like one of the worst movies, it's not like one of the worst things ever. There are amusing things about it, but it's in the D tier just because it's so disappointing. So yeah, 1941 D.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen this movie, but it's a movie that like on paper sounds really interesting with the cast and the subject matter, all that stuff, and like Spielberg involved, but I mean, you never really see it like get very high praise. It's not on any list of like great movies or anything. So I mean, it just never really has been on my radar. So I just haven't gotten around to watching it. But so yeah. But Papa West, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it should go in D, especially knowing it's a Steven Spielberg movie, and then you look at the cast: John Belushi, John Candy. It's upsetting because it has a lot of potential. I mean, the cast, the director, and it's World War II, but like based in California. So it has that interesting premise, but it doesn't deliver on anything. And so I'll agree with Austin and say D is the perfect spot for it. Also because D looks really lonely where it is.
It's looking lonely. It needs something.
Reminds me of my D, lonely.
yeah. But
sorry.
But Richie,
cocaine and hookers, my friend. Get into it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it, but haven't seen it. But you said it's an epic movie. Is it better than epic movie?
Oh yeah. Oh, way better. I would watch this over Epic or Disaster Movie or any of those movies any day. Absolutely would. Yeah, it's at least the acting is good. The effects are good. It's a competently made film. Yes. No, very
I
much
just
so.
get a lot of trouble when you say epic movie, and now I think of that and not like an epic movie.
No, not that epic movie.
Yeah. Not.
No,
I
I think it's worth. Again, I think it's a fascinating movie. It's at least worth a watch once to at least see the potential and how it doesn't work. I would say everybody should at least see it once. That's what I would say.
Yeah, so that's
At
what
least,
I'm gonna say.
yeah.
Where it's like eventually I need to see every Spielberg movie because I'm gonna want to do some sort of ranking, even if it's just on my letterbox where I have all of them accounted for. But I haven't seen it because I've never heard a good thing about it. Man, I just it'll be the last. It's like it'll be like pulling teeth to finally watch it. And maybe I'm surprised.
Yeah.
If anything, the bar is so low, I might have it like a C. It might be a solid 3-star movie. It might be positive. So sometimes having movies shit on and being surprised, setting the bar low, actually sometimes is good.
Yeah. Well, Chris, what do you think?
This is one that I've really been meaning to watch actually because it has an amazing cast, World War II, but I've never seen it before.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
we've only got 2 votes, but again, we both shot for D. It's not like we're shooting high. Like I think we can leave it up there. It's not going to hurt anybody's feelings. And like it's pretty much the consensus anyways online. Like I'm not giving any hot takes on 1941. Yeah. Right.
Well,
so Jordan, this might be the last pick, and then we're going to go into Hail Mary because we're almost at the 2-hour mark right here. So is there anything else? And then we'll go into our last round.
Well, what I can talk about. I mean, there's nothing really I'm going to put in like S tier or anything, but we do want to bring up the Sting. I want to bring it up.
Yes.
Just because I thought that, like, after watching it, like, there were some. Well, I want to say that I watched it for the first time just yesterday, and there were some moments to make me laugh, and like I wanted to argue there was a comedy, but me and Henry had a little conversation, and like something that you said kind of convinced me when you brought up Pulp Fiction, because Pulp Fiction is also a crime movie, but there's some elements that really make you laugh. But would you call Pulp Fiction a comedy? No, you wouldn't. And so like the same with The Sting, like it's a crime movie. It has some humorous elements, but like you wouldn't really call it a comedy per se, even though IMDb, it does list it as a crime comedy. So like in that vein, maybe, but like, I just think that that's probably not a comedy, but it's a great movie. Like it's a movie that I would rank in the S tier as like an overall movie to movie. Was freaking great. Like it's one of the best for like Paul Newman and Robert Redford and even Robert Shaw. Like he's great in it. But yeah, like
maybe if we were talking about straight like crime movies or caper heist movies or something like that, or things like that,
or buddy movies, team up
buddy movies, something like that. Yeah,
we do have a buddy like greatest movie duos coming up, but we need to add a heist or like crime movie to our schedule, but yeah, I'm gonna say that it's not a comedy though. So yeah, but we'll see what you guys think. So Papa West, what do you think?
I've not watched it.
Oh, okay. Well, Richie?
Yeah, I mean, there's comic elements in it, but yeah, I wouldn't initially. That's not the first genre that would come to mind, so I think it's fine with it. But I'd have no issue with saying that's not a comedy.
Yeah.
So like in terms of like this entire list, every movie that's eligible, this would be like top 3 S tier in terms of just overall movie. I really like this movie. It's like something's missing to keep it like top 100 because like everything on paper, it's just missing like this and Butch Cassidy, where like I love the duo of Newman and Redford. I love their dynamic, but like like I said, it's not a comedy, and that's fine. Like sometimes IMDb does a thing where it just adds comedy on it, and it is what it is. Like I said, even my thing with Fargo earlier, where it's like, yeah, sure, it's got some funny moments in it, but like the crime thriller aspect is what's going on, and I think it's just because the two are so charming that because sometimes it has some upbeat moments that it makes it feel lighthearted and funny, but it's really not. Like it's a great movie, but yeah, so I'll say B or A, but it's not S because it's not really a comedy.
Yeah. Well, Chris, what do you think?
It's funny when I commented in the chat when you were kind of having your brief conversation. It's kind of like, yeah, I suppose it's for comedy, but I'm like, you know what? Like I love this movie. This movie blew me away. Like it's one of my favorite movies. But yeah, it really isn't a comedy at all. But it's a spectacular movie.
Yeah. Well, Austin, are you on the same page?
Yes,
Or would you...
yeah, same here because I watched it today, and like I said, I had the Blu-ray sitting over on my shelf. I cracked it open today finally. Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie overall, and it's funny because like you have a smile on your face for most of the movie because it's very charming.
Yeah.
Robert Redford running around pulling his cons, like that opening one where they rob the dude, like the mob dude, like running around like it's fun, and when Paul Newman's getting drunk and like taking Robert Shaw for like all his money on the train, like all that stuff's a lot of fun. Like you're smiling the whole time, like kind of chuckling a little bit, like when he's cracking jokes at him, like stealing all his money and shit, like and it's a lot of fun. I think the movie's like about 10 or 15 minutes too long, to be honest. I think there's a 30-minute stretch near the end where like it takes too long to get to the climax, like where I'm just like they set up everything. They've got like the fake casino thing or whatever, like speakeasy, like all done. They get the initial thing with like Robert Shaw, give him to like invest, and there's like a half an hour before they get to the climax, and I was just kind of waiting for them to like get to it. I was just like waiting for the blow off. But yeah, other than that, like I think it's a really, really solid movie. But yeah, the more I thought about it, I was like, it's really charming and it's fun, it's entertaining. But like a straight like comedy, I kept waiting for more jokes, and I think the movie would have punched along a little better if they had a few more jokes sprinkled in there, like a few more just jabs and insults and things like that. But so yeah, I'm okay with leaving it not a comedy. But if we bring it up again, like we said, maybe like crime or heist movies or best buddy duos or whatever in movies, like we can bring it up again, and it would definitely like go in an S tier, like for that, because Redford and Newman are great in it. Like they're awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm okay with leaving it there.
Yeah.
It's worth the conversation. I mean, I would say there's probably people who would come on here and maybe argue more for the comedy thing. Like maybe I'd like to hear that. But yeah, like I'm sure there's an argument to be made. But sure, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, like it's borderline for me. Like it's almost there, but not quite. Yeah.
It's almost there. Yeah. So what we'll do now is we're moving into our kind of final speed round, Hail Mary round, just how this works for anybody who's not familiar. I think most people are, but I'll just explain it for anybody watching. So out of the movies that are left, we're basically shooting for anything you think belongs in like an A or an S tier, maybe that's still on the list. So look over the list, look over the thing. And basically what I'm looking for is you can name as many movies as you like that you think belong in there. And what I'm looking for is those crossovers. Anything that gets mentioned more than once, we will go back and give official rankings for very quickly, like 10, 15 seconds or less, just very quickly in the official ones. But you can name as many as you like, do some shout outs, whatever you want. But we'll just go up and down. And then after I have everybody's list, I'll look for the crossovers and we'll come back and rank them. As I understand, everybody got it? This is kind of how it works. There's no limits. So Papa West, anything you want to shout out still on the list for A or A? We're just shooting for high stuff. Anything A or S is what we're looking for.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2. Bad News Bears and Meatballs.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm gonna write these down real quick. So just give me 1 second. Make sure I get them all. All right. That's for Papa. Richie, anything on the list you want to shout out?
Yeah. Meatballs. The Muppet movie. MASH. And the first one I think I was going to think of it. And Murder by Death. There's for high tier as well. That's a good
great title.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is a great title. Yeah.
All right, Henry, anything on the list you want to shout out?
So the two ones that I really want to shout out, just because I really want to see them, because high praise, is Harold and Maude and A New Leaf. It's one of those where it's like they don't get talked about much, but I've never seen anything lower than like a 4.5 stars for either of them. So I'm really intrigued. I don't know how they lay on the comedy aspect, but they have maybe the dark comedy subgenre or whatever. So maybe, I don't know where it'll lie, like if we did a redux of this. MASH is one of those where I feel like I haven't seen it yet, but my dad grew up watching the show, so I feel like I would like that. And Meatballs is a concept that like it's either going to be I'm going to be totally in for it, I'm going to be totally against it, so I'm intrigued. So those are the 4 that I would mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris?
Well, Chris?
So I want to give a shout out for Kentucky Fried, MASH, Meatballs, and the Muppet movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I would shout out Bad News Bears as well. We talked about it on our baseball thing, but I think it's really damn funny. And other than that, I'm kind of running out of ones I've actually seen, so that would be probably where it would end for me, honestly. So just Bad News Bears, I would want to give a shout out to. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. For me, like I would actually shout out the Muppet movie for sure. And I know that nobody else mentioned it, but there's a movie in here called What's Up, Doc? That's actually like pretty underrated. It's a Barbara Streisand comedy, kind of crime mixed with like slapstick comedy. So I'll just shout out that just to give it some love. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I've got 4 that got crossovers that we'll just do very quick ratings of. Again, if you haven't seen it, that's fine. Just say you haven't seen it. But yeah, really quick ratings, like 10 seconds or less. But these are official ratings. So we'll start with the Bad News Bears. So Papa West, Bad News Bears.
I'm gonna go with an A. Billy Bob Thornton's amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Oh, not that one.
I know you.
Yeah, right.
Right.
We're trying to think, like, is he an actor back then? Like, somehow.
No, it's Walter Matthau.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe appeared as a kid.
A.
I have not seen it, so I assume it would be an A, but I can't say.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris?
A.
Yeah, I put it in S as far as baseball movies go, but 70s comedies, I go a really strong A. I still think it's really funny.
Yeah, I'd say an A as well. So I think it'll.
All right, we got 5 A's for it, so it's gonna jump up into the A tier.
All right.
Yeah, maybe near the top. We'll see because it's all solid A's.
Yeah. I'll put it there for now. But
yeah, all right. Okay, next one I heard a couple for was Meatballs. So Papa West, have you seen Meatballs? Yeah, Meatballs, right?
I said Meatballs, of course.
You know me. Okay, I'm forgetting. I'm looking at my list. My bad.
Every time I went to church camp, I always hoped it would turn out like Meatballs. It actually never did, unfortunately. That being said, I'm gonna go with an S on this one.
Yeah.
Richie?
I am too, actually. Yes.
Well, like I said, I wanted to shout it out because I feel like I might have an opinion later, but I have not seen it, so I can't actually vote.
Yeah. Well, Chris?
God, this is tough. I'm gonna go with S.
Yeah. Austin?
Well, I bought it on Vudu for the purposes of this thing. It was $5, and then I had to either rewatch The Jerk or watch Meatballs, and I rewatched The Jerk, so I haven't seen it yet. But I bought it for it. I just didn't get to it in time. So yeah, I wanted to though.
Yeah, and Meatballs, I think, is one of those movies I need to give a rewatch to because, like, I tried watching this when I was way too young, and I remember that I got through about like 10 minutes of it, and like this movie is old and like boring and like not good. I don't like it. But that was when I kind of had a stigma towards like old movies. I don't anymore. But like as a kid, kind of like maybe like 11, 12, I probably did. So yeah, I can't really comment on it. I haven't even seen the whole movie. I just turned it off. So.
Well, of the 3 we have, they're all S's, so it might scoot into the maybe like the number 10 slot. It might finally knock out Longest Yard. I think is what's going to knock out into the A tier. Yes,
Why the hell
so
that?
it's going to replace Longest
Yard.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Right.
All right. So I've got 2 other ones that had crossovers. So we'll go with the Muppet movie, Papa West.
Yeah.
I don't like this one as much. C.
Yeah. Richie?
A.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I've never seen a single Muppet thing. I watched the first like 20 minutes of this and I wasn't like hooked, and it's just I haven't seen it, but I don't know if I'm a Muppet guy, so I really don't know more than anything.
Yeah. Well, Chris?
Oh, I love this movie. I know it's not going to... this is a flash round, so I'm just going to say S.
Yeah. Well, Austin?
I haven't seen it in 30 years, so I don't think I can comment on it. I got the box set over there. I need to rewatch it, but I haven't watched it in 30 years. I don't think I could properly rank it, so I'm just going to abstain.
Yeah. For me, this one's tough. Like, it's an A, but it's a high A. For me, it goes to the top of A. So yeah.
All right. Well, of the ones we have, we got S, 2 A's, and a C. So the C kind of drags it, maybe like bottom of A or mid A, something like that.
Yeah.
You can put it up there. Maybe we'll see if it makes the honorable mentions. We'll see. We can kind of debate that when we get to the rankings there. So we'll play around with those.
All right.
All right. We'll play around with it. It has a chance to make honorable mentions. We'll see. And then the final one will be the movie version of MASH. So, Papa West.
I watched the show. I never watched the movie.
Yeah.
B.
Henry?
I got canceled just before I had to watch this for anything for Full Metal when it was around 3-1, so I never actually got to see it. But it was the show was a favorite of my dad, so I'm definitely curious in the future to see if I love it.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I know you just gave it a rewatch. So
I did, and I loved it. I thought it was a great movie, and it was hilarious. But it was definitely different because, like, it's made before the TV show. But it was definitely hilarious. I got to go with S because it's a great 70's war comedy, and it's kind of weird to think that it's all kind of real. Sorry, that's a really long answer to a lightning round.
No,
it's fine. Well, Austin?
Haven't seen it and don't really have much interest, honestly. I didn't watch the show either, so I don't think I'll ever get around to it.
Yeah, like MASH has always been something that it's just okay to me. Like it's never, I don't love it or hate it. So I'm gonna say C. So.
All right. Well, it's got an S, a B, and a C. So
like,
high B, maybe.
High B. Top of B. Top of B.
I'll just throw it up
Something
there
like
for fun.
Sure.
We talked about it.
Top of B.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
It's probably better than Attack of Killer Tomatoes. Robert Altman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident in that.
Is it though?
All right. So.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the? Maybe.
All right. So we do actually have 10 currently in our S tier. So here's the point where we kind of debate on the actual rankings of the S tier. So maybe we first go around and maybe see what everybody thinks is number one. And we'll see, maybe take a quick poll, maybe out of the top 5 there or top 4 or so. Like we'll see what everybody thinks would be their personal number one. And we'll kind of start with that. So, Papa, what would you put at number 1?
My number 1 would be Blazing Saddles.
Okay.
My number 1 would be Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Henry?
I'm going to say my answer with this ridiculous accent. Holy Grail.
Holy Grail. Okay. Okay.
Chris?
I'm going to go with Animal House.
Yeah. Well, Austin?
I'm Blazing Saddles. It's my number 1 of all time.
Yeah. And for me, I got to go with The Jerk. I mean, I got it as my name, so. But it sounds like Blazing Saddles, though.
Blazing Saddles is kind of the majority out of the 6, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot you got to do it that way. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's see. Let's see how we want to do this. Let's go out of the 2 Monty Pythons. Which one do you prefer? Papa West.
Holy Grail.
Okay.
Yep. Richie?
Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Life of the
Henry?
Holy Grail. Holy Grail.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Holy Grail.
Chris? Yeah. Austin?
Life of Brian.
I've never seen Life of Brian, so Holy Grail.
All right.
Holy hell, I'm
All right.
Grail.
So Holy Grail will be a Life of Brian, but let's go up and down. Holy Grail or Young Frankenstein, Papa.
Yeah.
And we'll determine this out of the 2.
Holy Grail.
Okay.
Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And this is actually the only one that would actually be tough for this entire list because they are my 1 and 2, but Holy Grail is my 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris?
Young
It's
Frankenstein.
like tournament fights. It's like tournament fights. You got to choose one or the other. Only none of them get knocked out. Young Frankenstein, hands down. I still think Holy Grail's overrated.
This one's tough for me.
Take that for overrated.
Yeah. Probably Young Frankenstein just by a hair. Yeah.
Chinny chin chin.
Well, 4-2. So I think our rankings for those kind of stay exactly where they are right there.
Yeah.
We go Young Frankenstein,
4.
Holy Grail. But however, The Jerk had more overwhelming S tiers than Life of Brian, so I think The Jerk goes above Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Because the Jerk had a lot of S tiers, so I think Jerk would probably scoot up at least a notch over Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would vote for the jerk if we did another one.
Yeah.
Andy Hall got a lot of popular ones.
Yeah.
Annie Hall had 4 S tiers, yeah, but it also had a D, so I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Well, it's the same with Animal House though, so it was like 4 and a C. So I think they're kind of right next to each other right there at 6 and 7. So I mean they're kind of perfect where they are.
I feel like Up in Smoke got higher reviews than Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Up in Smoke had 3 and 2, and then Pink Panther had only 3 votes in general, but they were all S's. But then again, Up in Smoke had 3 S's and 2 A's. So Up in Smoke just had more votes. But I think Up in Smoke, because of that, probably goes above the Pink Panther, at least by a notch.
I'd agree.
Just because it had more positive praise.
I would agree.
And then Meatball just kind of scooted in there, but that was fair. Just kind of scooted in at number 10. I think that's fair.
I'd be down for another vote for Pink Panther and Meatballs just because it was just brought up in the last minute.
I mean,
yeah, I just haven't seen it, so I can't vote on it. I haven't seen either.
Yeah.
I haven't either, but I just want you guys to battle.
No, I think it's fine. I think it's fine where it's at. I think Meatball scooting in is pretty fair.
Hey, you guys want
So
to
now
for you guys, I bought Up in Smoke and Animal House just now, so I will watch them at some point in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right,
Yeah,
so now we may
solid,
determine. Let's determine the 3 out of the 5 that will be the honorable mentions. So out of this, so
I feel like the 3 that are there.
As ironic as it is, all the shit we talked, Willy Wonka's got to be an honorable mention amongst these 5.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Slapshot.
Yeah.
And I feel like Longest Yard has to be there because it was an S for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, true. And then Bad News Bears, I think, would be the next one that I would pick. So
yeah,
Bad News Bears had overwhelming A's, so at least needs to be there. It had nothing negative.
Like those
so
three, I feel like those 3 are solid.
Yeah,
they're perfect.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that'll do it then.
Sounds good to me. That'll do it then. Sounds good. All right.
All right. Well, as the co-host, Austin, do you want to?
All right, I will break it on down. Yeah, so for our 70s comedy tier ranker this evening, our final rankings. Number 1, we got Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles. Number 2, another Mel Brooks with Young Frankenstein. Number 3, we got Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Number 4, we got Steve Martin and the Jerk. Number 5, another Monty Python with Life of Brian. Number 6, the college classic Animal House. And number 7, we got Woody Allen's Annie Hall. At number 8, Cheech and Chong starring in Up in Smoke. At number 9, we've got the sequel, Return of the Pink Panther. Number 10, we got Bill Murray and Meatballs. And our 3 honorable mentions for this evening are the sports comedies Longest Yard, the Bad News Bears, and we've got Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah,
all right.
There you go. All right.
Good job, everybody. Nicely done. Nice episode. Excellent.
Yeah,
there's some quality movies there. Some good shit.
Yeah,
I was gonna say for our comedy championship that's coming up with our 5 decades. I mean, stuff like Blazing Saddles and Frankenstein, Holy Grail, the Jerk. I mean,
are going to be battles.
There's going to be some strong contenders that could make it into the final top 10. I mean, there's some contenders, depending on the panel. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But some good stuff there. Some good ones that still hold up. Very good.
Very nice.
Very nice.
If we do have our panel for that already set, I know we're gonna have Moose and we're gonna have Brother Lomas. I was gonna look it up really quick. Who's gonna be on our championship? Because I know. Let's see. Give me one second. Let's see. Do a quick search. Champion. So it's gonna be Brother Lomas, Moose Haas, Jordan Owens, and then me and you, Austin. So yeah, it should be a good crew. So yeah, it'll be fun because
looks like there's that's what 5. Do we still have one spot open for anybody who wants to snag it?
If you guys need me, let me
know.
Open
if you want. Yeah,
you know you're gonna.
We're always open.
You know you're gonna.
Because for tier ranker fights, like I'm always down to have 6. We have a little more control on the length of it. For tournament fights, I've been trying to keep it more to just 5. I mean, the ones that we already have scheduled as 6, I'm going to keep it there. But for now, I think for
with tier, we definitely, like I said, we always kind of at around the 2 hour mark, we kind of cut it and start wrapping it up. So it's a lot easier to control. And like no matter where we're at, we cut it and we go and we do the Hail Mary to get it. This last one's
5-hour episode, So
yeah,
I'm trying to avoid
that.
That
one was very ridiculous earlier.
Yeah.
All right,
but that was a fun
That'll
time.
Do it.
So so we'll just go around the horn, and if you have anything that you want to plug, you can tell us where we can find you, all that stuff. So we'll start with Papa West. Where can we find you?
You can find me all over the place, especially TMG Trivia, where I run singles and teams. I can't keep promoting mine and Richie's match because that finally happened after 5 months of planning it. But we are in the middle of that singles tournament, so a lot of fun stuff about to happen. Teams were actually doing a number one contenders match pretty soon because Stephen Boyd won TMG Trivia's Fantasy Football League, and he chose to gift his brother a number one contenders match with himself. So he was a little selfish. And then also TMG Entertainment. I help out with Aaron in the debate stuff. You actually would have just watched me destroy a potato. And then I also do a generally every week sports show called TMG Takes the Field.
Nice. Sounds good. Well, Richie, where can we find you besides on this show every other episode?
Yeah, you can find me on tier ranker and tournament fights for the next 2 decades.
Yeah, right.
I'll doing. I think the next episode is a Simpsons tournament fight. If I'm not mistaken. So that should be fun. And then if I'm not here, I'm on Jordan Allen's channel doing wrestling trivia and movie trivia and all what else. And then occasionally I'm on the other trivia leagues. I'll be doing Formula Classic when that comes back, whenever that does. Chris Scott just sent me a friend request.
Live on
there you go. Yeah. We're all going to be friends here. Yes, we're all friendly here, no matter what our opinions on movies. We all love each other. We're all a big community here. We love each other.
Yeah, right. We all support each other.
Unless it's about Mel Brooks. So with that said, my name's Henry.
We'll be ranking Mel Brooks at some point. And then I'm going to tell you why high anxiety is great. Just to spite you, I'll put it at number one.
We'll definitely have a blast discussing and debating. You can find me over on my channel, Henry Confidential. And if you're not joined the There Will Be Movies Facebook group, go ahead and join that because I do call outs for There Will Be Trivia and my roundtable and any other random shenanigans we're going to be doing. Me and Austin, that fella right there that you might know, we have a show called Let's Rank Stuff. We do franchises, Scream, Saw, Rambo, directors Tarantino, Nolan, Fincher. We did the Scream. I already said Scream. So we did a bunch of stuff. This upcoming week we're going to be doing Edgar Wright, and the following week we're going to do Alien versus Predator. So we're going to mix it up. We're going to have a blast. So I'm excited.
All of them together, mashed up, Alien and Predator movies all together. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. How we talk about that because Edgar Wright is a super popular director, so it's going to be interesting to see how we compare versus the rest of the community. And then Alien versus Predator, it's going to be wild because there's a lot, and there's a lot of different quality. So we'll see how we talk about that. So shout out Austin. I can't wait to do that one. So
this is going to be fun. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Chris, where can we find you?
So let's see. This is I know I'm on Facebook. You can find me through the all across here is a Casablanca Kid. But I'm on Facebook.
I'd like to help you out. Throw the little banner down for you. So you can remember your handles.
So at cscott1128 on Instagram. And also should be cscott as well on Twitter. Yeah. But feel free to friend me. Glad I was able to be here for this. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely want to have you on because you know a lot more of these older movies than me, at least. I mean, I don't know about the rest of everyone, but I'll speak for myself. You know way more than me. So, but Austin, where can we find you?
Yeah, well, Henry already mentioned our ranking show, Let's Rank Stuff. We're having a ton of fun over there. If you haven't watched it yet, we have a blast doing that, and especially he loves my wacky rankings sometimes. Especially the Scream ones. Go watch that because I had some wacky rankings for that one, especially one of them, which you can probably guess which one not at the top, but which one ranked pretty high for me for a specific reason. But go check it out and see why. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, like Edgar Wright's going to be interesting too. But yeah, I'll just shout out our good friend, the channel Jacob Barber, who we're now kind of folding into the Movie Hero Network with his 2 shows, a podcast about wrestling and a podcast about movies, which I do with him. Podcast about movies, and he does the podcast about wrestling with Jordan Owens. But yeah, this weekend we're going to be taping another show. Doing just talking about some underrated hidden gems from every kind of genre of films. We're going to be running those down, just some personal picks and some fun stuff, just very casual. And we did a fun one the other day, our last episode, where we just picked up one of our favorite movies from each of the years we've been alive. So we just went through I started at 86, he started in 1990, and we just picked a movie for each year, and it was super fun. So we had a lot of fun with that. So go check it out. We just have a good time and chit chat and have a good time over there. So podcast about movies and podcast about wrestling, but look for them on the Movie Hero Network, here on the Movie Hero Network.
Yeah. So we're excited to have him on the Movie Hero Network. And I just tuned into his podcast about wrestling. It got me pretty pumped up to watch the Royal Rumble tomorrow. So that's
Rumble is tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Yeah. This is my favorite a professional wrestling event of the year. So I'm a casual wrestling fan, but I love the Royal Rumble. So because it's always surprising, you never know who's going to show up. So that's always a fun time.
Yes, so they chatted about the Royal Rumble on a podcast about wrestling a few days ago. So check that out. Yeah, definitely.
And the new wrestling game looks amazing. While we're talking about wrestling.
Oh yeah, the video game. Yeah.
The new one looks sick.
Yeah. But.
Well, 2K20 looked amazing, and we all know how that one went. So
yeah. But you can find us on all the social medias at Movie Hero 2121. You can find us over in the Showdown Friends and Family group, which tomorrow we'll have the best 70s comedies poll out with our.
My apologies, Craig, for posting the Oscar nominee one like a week late. I'm sorry. That was when I was still snowed in at my parents' house, so I just forgot about that. I'm sorry. I eventually got it up, so it was there, but I try to remember to do it the next day. Sometimes I'm exhausted. I don't get to it till another day after, but I try to remember. I do as best I can.
You had a little comment. It's like, where's the...
I was like, oh, shit, I forgot.
Oscar poll. Yeah. But just a little preview of some stuff we have coming up. So... Richie already mentioned the best Simpsons characters, so that's coming up. We're actually going to be doing it Monday instead of Tuesday because I have people coming into town, so we'll be doing it on Monday. And then also we're going to be doing the best winter sports movies to coincide with the Winter Olympics coming up here, and it actually starts I think next week. And then we're going to be doing best Jim Carrey movies coming up, and then also the best movies set mostly in one location, so we got that one, and then also we have our best rom-com series, which we're going to do the same thing that we're already currently doing. We're going to break it into 2 parts, and then we're going to have a championship half bracket with the Sweet 16 for each one because there's so many rom-coms. There's no way that we could fit it into just one episode. And then we also have our next Oscar episode coming up, so we're going to be doing 2004 to 2012 coming up soon. So we're doing all the best Oscar, Best Picture nominees. It'll be a little tournament of all of those. So, yeah, you can watch for all of that. So that's pretty much where you can find all of us. So this has been a fun time. Yeah. So I didn't think we'd be able to find so many bangers in the 70s, but we actually did. So it'll be fun to eventually have our comedy championship coming up. So that'll be in about a month from now, so you can watch for that too. So, but we'll announce everything on all of our social media. You can keep up to date with that. Oh, and also the one thing that I don't want to forget too. So we did our 100 subscriber giveaway. I actually have some winners to announce. So I don't know if they're actually tuning in. I'm going to reach out to them anyways. But of course the grand prize winner. So the grand prize, I'm going to Venmo him $50. So we have our kind of like that guy that follows us everywhere, so he knows way more than anyone else. But Brian Nussbaum won the grand prize because he answered all the personal questions right, and then all the movie related questions.
Damn, Brian's the GOAT.
Correctly. Yeah, so, he's a super fan. So yeah. But then if a community fan,
creepy stalker phase, right?
Yeah,
just a little bit. Yeah, he'll probably message me after the show, but
he literally commented right there in the comments who won the giveaway. So he was
right.
He did.
Congratulations, Brian.
You did, Brian.
So,
you did, Brian.
So yeah,
congrats, Brian.
Yeah,
He'll DM
we'll talk
you.
later. But then we have a fan of the show, Jake Reese, actually was the runner-up. So I have 10. Yeah. So I have 10 original one-sheet movie posters from my time working at the movie theater. I worked there from 2015 and 2016, but then I also worked a second time in 2019 too. So I have some from all those years. So I'll give you 10 choices, and you can pick 3 of them, and then I'll send them to you. So that'll be the runner-up. So those are our winners for the giveaway. So, but anyways, that'll do it for us tonight. So for Papa West, for Richie, for Henry, for Chris, for Austin, I've been Jordan Movie Hero Anderson, and we will see you next time.